Hello and welcome to the 2021 International Business and Women's Summit, La Revancha, the rematch. Many of you are asking, why are we having an international summit on business virtually? Well, because of COVID, everything has had to change. And so with our team here, with our producer Netza Rodriguez and our collaborators and sponsors, we decided that we will bring the summit to you, to your comfort zone, to your home. You're going to be witnessing great speakers, great collaborators, and guess what? You're going to be doing it all from your comfort of your office, your home, your car, your tablet, your phone, wherever you feel comfortable that you can sit down and watch and listen to some great speakers. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk how to survive in business. We're going to showcase women, and we're always going to showcase from now on our youth, the legacy that we are going to leave to our young adults, our young entrepreneurs. We want you to enjoy this show, this summit, and please opine or send me information if you liked it or what would you like to see in our next show or our next summit. Just email us at prhccpc@gmail.com or just drop me a text at 863-838-2084. Now you're wondering why call it La Revancha? Well, all the plans and business plans that most of our collaborators and sponsors and business owners that are part of our chamber had to tweak their business plans. Some of them had to just tear it up and throw it out and chuck it out the window. But guess what? We're learning how to do business outside of the box, and we have gotten to learn how to admire and appreciate social platforms and being in front of camera, like I'm doing right now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our summit, and you will be definitely surprised at how well we have put this together, safely and effectively.
¿Necesita ayuda para pagar el cuidado de sus niños pequeños? Nosotros podemos asistir. Llame hoy a 863-577-2450 o vaya a elcpolk.org.
Tus abogados con más de 25 años de experiencia en el estado de la Florida. Hacemos reclamos de todo tipo de accidentes, dueño de casa o propiedad. ¿Tienes reclamo al seguro? Luchamos por sus derechos. Comunícate a nuestras oficinas 407-228-2080. Nuestras consultas son completamente gratis. Somos tu firma de abogados de confianza, lealtad y compromiso.
WQXM 1460M 99.9 FM es tu conexión directa con la comunidad hispana de Polk County. 100% en vivo y local. Noticias, música, participación en nuestra comunidad. Porque el contenido lo es todo. Ritmo 99.9, tan hispana como tú. Una estación DRC Broadcasting.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
So you're sitting there and wondering, so what exactly is going to happen today? What am I going to view? Well, first of all, we're going to have Fabian Yepes of Prospera USA. He'll be talking about surviving the financial stress during COVID. We're also going to have Vanessa Eddy of BioPrep Solutions, your new way of how to survive via CDC regulations and how to qualify for certification. Netza Rodriguez will also tell us about building your brand virtually and how you can learn how to do that. Then we'll have the Women's Summit portion of the forums, and definitely we will have Ashley Connell. And we're sending her blessings because she lives in Texas, and you know what happened in Texas. She is the owner and founder of Prowess Project, why working from home can be a win-win for both the employee and the employer. Karina Ferrer Sloan will be talking about surviving COVID-19 and how she was able to expand on her business during this trying time. And then we will have a greeting from National President of LULAC, Domingo Garcia, as he talks about the important facts of femicide, leading it into our last forum, which will be hosted by Allison Foley Rothrick, attorney. And she'll be talking about Red Tent Initiative and how it is combating and helping with the issue of femicide, which is a big issue. And to culminate our big event, we will have a special section for you on our youth and those going forward, and a yoga session so that you can relax and be peaceful. Namaste. So we'll be right back after these announcements.
Our mission is to provide a caring and holistic treatment environment that affects a positive change in the mental well-being and quality of life of all persons we treat.
Excel Clinical Research is currently conducting trials for Alzheimer's, fatty liver, irritable bowel syndrome, OCD, major depression, and others, located at 2135 Hardin Boulevard, Lakeland, Florida. Call us at 863-940-2087 for a free screening. Again, we are Excel Clinical Research.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
Welcome to the 2021 International Business and Women's Summit, La Revancha. My name is Paul Cruz, and I am, as of February 2021, your Puerto Rican Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Polk County Vice President. Today you will learn how to go forward and do business with a new attitude. Last year the struggles were real, but like any fighter might tell you, I'm not satisfied and I want a rematch, hence La Revancha. So that's what the La Revancha Summit means to our chamber board, and it's over 200 members. Join us and stay with us to the very end. I promise you it will be worth it. And again, thank you for support, and as always, we are community, culture, and commerce.
Don't go away, stay tuned as our collaborators and sponsors and advertisers are bringing you some great information on their product and services. So don't go away. Excel Clinical Research is currently conducting trials for Alzheimer's, fatty liver, irritable bowel syndrome, OCD, major depression, and others, located at 2135 Hardin Boulevard, Lakeland, Florida. Call us at 863-940-2087 for a free screening. Again, we are Excel Clinical Research.
Hola, soy Ángel Jiménez
y José Carrillo, de Jiménez y Carrillo, sus abogados.
Con nuestra oficina principal en Miami, al igual que Orlando, Kissimmee y Lakeland, con más de 25 años representando a nuestra comunidad latina con todo tipo de casos, especialmente reclamos de seguros y accidentes. Recuerde, no hay peor pregunta que la que no se haga.
Llámenos
para una consulta gratis.
WQXM 1460M 99.9 FM es tu conexión directa con la comunidad hispana de Polk County. 100% en vivo y local. Noticias, música, participación en nuestra comunidad. Porque el contenido lo es todo. Ritmo 99.9, tan hispana como tú. Una estación DRC Broadcasting.
My name is Fabian Yepes, and I am the Vice President of the West Coast of Florida of Prospera. Prospera is one of the nation's leading nonprofit economic development organizations specializing in providing bilingual assistance to Hispanic entrepreneurs. We provide expertise and resources to existing and prospective micro businesses, empowering entrepreneurs so their businesses can grow and prosper. And I'm proud to say that this organization started 30 years ago. This year is going to be 30 years, right here in Tampa, under the name Hispanic Business Initiative Fund, HBIF. Since then, our headquarters are now established in Orlando, and we have expanded into, obviously, Orlando, Tampa, South Florida, Charlotte, North Carolina, and as of this year, our services are being offered in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, how has Prospera assisted these businesses during the pandemic? Well, as we all know, COVID-19 crisis has hit Hispanic small businesses in many ways, including not being able to access PPP loans at the same rate that other businesses were able to. This pandemic has had a lot of negative impact in our community. But the way we're helping is we're continuing to focus on our mission, which is to help these Hispanic businesses grow and prosper. And the way we're doing it is we are continuing to offer our services, which are all based on 4 pillars, which I'm going to describe very, very briefly. The first pillar is going to be our business seminars. We do these business seminars about once every 2 weeks, and in these seminars they are focused for both businesses who are just starting out or for businesses that have already been established for a few years. We have some orientations that are focused more on explaining how to open a new business, what you need to do, what the licensing is, and et cetera, et cetera. And then we have more detailed workshops that are geared more towards established businesses who are looking to grow and to continue becoming more successful. All these seminars, and actually all our services, are created for both Hispanics who have lived here in the U.S. for many years, and for those who are recently arrived who may still not understand how business is done in the United States. That's what we're here for, to teach them how to do that. We show them both in language and in culture. Our second pillar is going to be the business consulting, where a client will come and speak directly to a consultant, business development consultant, one-on-one, and explain where he is with his either idea or his business. This is where the consultants will look into where they are and explain a little bit more of what the next steps have to be. Our third pillar is going to be our business grants. These grants are not grants that are given to our clients as money, but they're given more as technical assistance services. So, for example, we have providers who deliver these services, and the different grants that we offer are accounting assessment, legal assessment, marketing plan, business plans, and branding kits. Now, the way we see it is that we prefer to show and teach the business owners how to fish versus giving him the fish. At the end of the day, we're learning to do something the correct way is going to be much more beneficial for their businesses. And the fourth and last pillar that we focus on is access to capital. We help clients understand the U.S. financial and banking systems. We understand that, especially for those who are recently arrived, that financial services, credit scores, and banking in general is a little bit different of what it is back in their country. So many times businesses are looking for a loan and they're really not prepared. And we saw a lot of this happen recently with the PPP loans. But our consultants will help them. If they don't have an established credit history, we'll help them with that. We will help them fix their credit scores if that is needed. And there are times that sometimes they don't really need a loan, but just some adjustments in their business model, and that could avoid for them getting into debt. It's interesting to see how many people from abroad see, like in the old movies, when somebody walks into a bank, asks for a loan because they have a great idea for a business. It's a handshake and it's done. Well, the American dream is obtainable, but it's a little bit harder than this, and many people still have to understand that. Now, for 2021, what is it that we see? And what different ways can we help our clients? I believe we have to continue doing what we've been doing. There's a lot of talk out there about financial education, and I agree with that. We believe that many businesses have not focused so much on learning how to manage the financial system here in the U.S. We are more than happy to help them doing this, but there are other different things that businesses should focus on. One thing that surprised us was learning that some businesses could barely survive a month if they didn't have any, because they didn't have any emergency fund. Now, living in Florida, we should expect something to happen every year. There's always going to be a flooding, there's always going to be a storm, maybe a hurricane. So we were a little bit surprised that many businesses did not have an emergency fund. Now, it's understandable. It is not easy. It's a lot easier said than done. Many businesses, especially those that are starting, it can be very difficult to save a little bit of money, but on the long run, it's going to help you, and it really will help those businesses be able to survive in case of there's any emergency. What we saw, for example, is many people on the financial side, they couldn't qualify for the PPP loans, and I'm sure that all of you have seen this. People did not have their books in order. Their accounting was not done by a certified CPA, but by a cousin, by the vecina, the whoever, and that is not going to work. They have to learn that you have to do things the right way, and that's the way you're gonna be able to get ahead in business here. We saw many people that didn't even understand the difference between a loan and a grant. So they were asking for loans when they thought they didn't have to pay them back, and there's been a lot of misunderstanding on this side. We saw, and unfortunately, because of this and many other reasons, we saw that the loans for Hispanic-owned businesses was at about half the rate of what other white-owned businesses received. And it's pretty sad because there's a lot of talent out there that wasn't being used. But what we also want to focus in is not only the financial education, but business education. You can be a great baker, you can be a great chef, you can be very good at whatever craft you do, but if you don't know how to manage the business, that's not gonna help you. How many times have we seen a great restaurant show up in our neighborhood? It seems that it's always full, it's very busy, parking lot is always packed, service is great, the food is great, but then after 3 months, they have to close. That has nothing to do with the craft, how they prepare the food or how the service or whatever. It has to do because, unfortunately, many people don't focus on their expenses and very simple things that many business owners tend to not pay too much attention. So we've been focused on helping them a lot with that as well, and hopefully we can continue to do that throughout the year and continue to help many businesses. I'm proud to say that one of our clients that is here in Lakeland, from Lakeland, who has 3 childhood education places, I'm very proud to say that she did not lay off a single person, and actually had used this time and used the time of the pandemic to be able to make some changes to her business and get ready for what's coming. And from what we know, she's doing very, very well. So like this, there are many businesses that we've helped to pivot. I know everybody's probably sick of that word, but many people have had to change the way they do business in order to survive. You have to stay up with technology. You have to stay up with the trends of your industry or any other industry. So we will help you do that, and that's what we've been doing for this year. So hopefully you can take some of this advice, and if you're ever needing any help as a business owner, we are more than happy to help you. You can reach us at prosperausa.org.
Don't go away, stay tuned as our collaborators and sponsors and advertisers are bringing you some great information on their product and services. So don't go away.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
Excel Clinical Research is currently conducting trials for Alzheimer's, fatty liver, irritable bowel syndrome, OCD, major depression, and others, located at 2135 Hardin Boulevard, Lakeland, Florida. Call us at 863-940-2087 for a free screening. Again, we are Excel Clinical Research.
Carrillo, tus abogados con más de 25 años de experiencia en el estado de la Florida. Hacemos reclamos de todo tipo de accidentes, dueño de casa o propiedad. ¿Tienes reclamo al seguro? Luchamos por sus derechos. Comunícate a nuestras oficinas 407-228-2080. Nuestras consultas son completamente gratis. Somos tu firma de abogados de confianza, lealtad y compromiso.
Hi, I'm Dory Rodriguez Joseph, right here in Polk County, Lakeland in Polk County, Florida. I lead Homes for Heroes in the area of Polk County. It's a national project, and we work with our 5 heroes, our firefighters, police officers, veterans, retired and active. We have healthcare workers and teachers, and in which we give back through our real estate services. 30% of our commission, they get a rewards check on behalf of us at DRJ Real Estate. And any heroes out there in Polk County, we serve you, and we're so grateful and thankful for everything that you're doing through all this season and how you serve our community. So we're here in Lakeland, Florida, serving all the heroes of Polk County. Polk County is a national program. It's in the entire United States. It started since 9/11 in the state of New York, and with 4 agents that wanted to give back to the firefighter families and to the first responders that ran into the Twin Towers when everybody was running out. But now it's a movement of over 3,000 agents, and I'm the affiliate right here locally in Lakeland, Florida. But as far as I can drive, I'll do anything possible to serve the heroes, and it doesn't have to be Polk County, but this is where I'm located right now. Okay. Our website is www.polkcountyheroes.com, and that way you can reach us and sign up for the program. And my cell phone number is 863-602-7059, 863-602-7059. Well, my family, I'm a daughter of 2 heroes. My mom was a nurse, and my dad worked in law enforcement for 37 years. So it's very close to my heart to serve the heroes, and through everything that has been happening, even now more than ever, we just want to give back, and just to say a big thank you for everything.
Thank you for being our hero, Dory.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Excel Clinical Research is currently conducting trials for Alzheimer's, fatty liver, irritable bowel syndrome, OCD, major depression, and others, located at 2135 Hardin Boulevard, Lakeland, Florida. Call us at 863-940-2087 for a free screening. Again, we are Excel Clinical Research.
Our mission is to provide a caring and holistic treatment environment that affects a positive change in the mental well-being and quality of life of all persons we treat.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Eddy. I'm so incredibly excited to be here and be a part of La Revancha. this 2021 rematch. The summit, aptly held during Women's History Month, is a testament of where we, as women and as business owners, have come from, what we have overcome, and with continued perseverance can achieve in the future. Over this last year, I held a regular job, managed a business, made sure my kids were learning something in their online schooling program, managed to somehow get dinner on the table, and then, in a few spare moments, continue my education. I am willing to bet that each one of you here has a similar story, and I want to remind you that you are extraordinary, and I am honored to be here in your corner. I want to explore this concept of a redo, or rematch, and what that looks like for 2021. But first off, let me start off by telling you a little bit about my background. I am a biological threat and pandemic expert, business consultant, as well as a fellow business owner of a woman-owned and managed business. It has been a busy year. I literally grew up living in a small business as my family owned a hotel and a working farm. I really understand many of the sacrifices that you have made over the years to get your businesses off the ground and to keep it operating, especially this last year. I have over 17 years in the policymaking, chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear space in the United States government, the Department of Defense, the Department of Health and Human Services, transnational organizations, and businesses within the private industry. I earned a master's in public policy from George Mason University with a concentration in national security and an emphasis in global medical health policy. COVID-19 has impacted everyone. There is no victor here, only victims. The loss of life and property has been catastrophic, and it has shaken up the American quality of life like no other event in our lifetime. Over 500,000 Americans have lost their lives. Another 28.7 million have been diagnosed with COVID-19. These numbers will continue to increase. I'm not going to be very popular with you for a few moments, but I'm here to tell you that pandemics in general, such as COVID-19, do not just go away with a vaccine. It is not an off-on light switch. For those of you, pre-Alexa, that still use light switches, think of it as a dimmer switch. There will be phases or waves, and it will flow back and forth as the United States moves within the phases of response, stabilization, and recovery. While there have been great strides with developing, producing, and starting to deploy a vaccine, COVID-19 is not just going away for the foreseeable future. There are many that won't get the vaccine. And we have to remember, the United States does not live in isolation. We are a global community with economic ties around the world, from South America to Asia. The travel required to maintain these ties requires movement across the globe. That movement will continue to spread disease. If we did somehow become perfectly isolated, there is a chance that mutations can still occur. Unlike polio or measles, coronavirus is not an open book. At the moment, we have barely made it past the first chapter. Unknowns still remain regarding mutations, how long immunity lasts, and transmissibility for those that have been vaccinated or will be vaccinated. But vaccines are a game changer, and we want to encourage as many people as possible to get those vaccines. I generally start off with education because for me, this is what we can fix. The biggest problem in the United States today is not COVID-19. It is public confidence. Most of the decisions regarding utilizing mitigation measures, risk acceptance, vaccine willingness, whether individuals feel safe going to a restaurant or to a grocery store, and how that changes per location. All of these things revolve around public confidence and our ability to listen, respond, and act on the public's concern. The better we do this, the more the public will comply and the safer we will be. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to a few terms. Pandemic. You should know this one pretty well by now, but it is where disease spreads across countries and leads to high levels of morbidity, co-diseases, and mortality, causing major public health concerns. Versus endemic, which is where you have a disease spread within a population that results in a generally minor to moderate public health threat. Think influenza or the flu. What are those triggers that shift us from a pandemic to an endemic COVID-19 situation, or a totally recovered society? There are many questions that still remain on what those shifts look like. but I will save that dissertation for anyone that wants to have a chat another time. In the meantime, we have to recognize that COVID-19 is here to stay for the foreseeable future. What does that mean for you and your business? Right now, it is to start planning for a future, not necessarily for a crisis, but for a significant health risk that continues in the population. If you haven't, you need to start planning for that different future than what you were hoping for. We're going to dig out those SMART goals. Most of you have seen them before, but specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely goals. Achievable and realistic are huge components, especially in dealing with scenarios where you have less control. So let's talk through this for a moment. What do you want to happen for your business in 2021? Is it perhaps full recovery with the same business you had in 2019? Is it just better than this past year? Is it to operate effectively and safely as possible with COVID-19? Setting that goal, that vision up front, enables you to have a target to plan for. And as you set your goal, I'm going to virtually foot stomp that we have to make sure that those goals are measurable, achievable, and realistic. It is not a hop from response to recovery. Raise your hand if you have been through a hurricane. All right, I'm just kidding. Let's talk a little bit about how this works. We're going to take a hurricane, for example. We know it's coming. We keep our eye on the Weather Channel for information awareness. We do some sandbagging for prevention. You may take off in your car for somewhere that is safer, mitigation. And then when you come back, you start rescuing people from the wreckage, the response. And then we're starting to rebuild or recovery. This visual works very well in a hurricane. This is really hard when it comes to pandemics and for visualization of this. In a hurricane, the hurricane happens, you respond, and then you recover. The transition in a pandemic and the phasing between response and stabilization means that you're likely for the foreseeable future be varying between those different phases of response, stabilization, and recovery for a long time, and that varies per location. Okay, let's talk about our secondary or inner circle, our programs and tools for a minute. As I mentioned, for me and also for BioPrep, we tend to relate everything back to education and that awareness. And we can do so much if we just have the information and are able to look at that appropriately. Secondarily is how are we assessing risk? Right now, in terms of COVID, everything is a risk. And we need to be able to make educated decisions on that. Thirdly, we have research and development. This is everything from trying to figure out what vaccines to use to what kind of therapeutics or medical countermeasures you're using, or even what technologies you can deploy at your particular location that may be able to mitigate airflow issues. Deployment and integration, that's working with everyone from your state and locals to being able to actually build centers of excellence within the different medical and health academia communities. Decision-making tools, being able to combine a lot of these different things to give senior leaders the decision space they need to be able to make decisions. Compliance. This one is critical as we're looking to the future, is how do individuals trust if there is no standardization or assurance that there's compliance measures being taken. And then finally is being able to incorporate some of that feedback and monitoring and being able to update the information, education, and training, the risk analysis, and we can go back around our circle. Inside in the middle, we have the different levels that all of these things can be used at, which is the federal, state, local, business, and even at the individual level. This information here on this slide are some of those tools that I just talked about. What I'm including this slide for is really the visualization of that little star on the map of where you are right now. This chart, sampled for a restaurant, is just here to illustrate that slide I've been talking about between stabilization, response, and recovery, as well as the different mitigation tools that can be adjusted within each phase. Many of those mitigation tools build upon the other and provide a variety of different options for businesses and decision makers. You will also see our language showcase an additional phasing as you go down the table to consider, to encourage, require, enforce partial, maybe enforce carry-out measures, and then moving into mission critical. I know many of you are well versed in COVID-19 transmission, but it's important to reiterate some of these points. COVID-19 is hard for many of us to take seriously unless you have been personally exposed or know someone that has become sick or died, because it is hard to. COVID-19 has about a 40 to 45% asymptomatic rate. That means they don't appear sick, which means that those you know, love, or generally come in contact with can be a vector for passing COVID-19 and never know it. COVID-19 is a respiratory virus. Respiratory viruses are transmitted in multiple ways: contact, droplet, and airborne. Droplet transmission is spread through respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or projects their voice really loudly. Contact transmission is spread through direct contact or fomite transfer with an infectious person, such as touching or handshaking. Airborne transmission is exposure to virus-containing respiratory droplets comprised of smaller droplets and particles that can remain suspended in the air over long distances. Airborne transmission occurs most often with enclosed spaces, which is where an infectious person either exposed susceptible people or to which susceptible people were exposed shortly after the infectious person had left the space. Prolonged exposure to respiratory particles, often generated with expiratory exertion, shouting, singing, exercise, that increase the concentration of suspended respiratory droplets in the airspace. Lastly, inadequate ventilation or air handling, which allowed a buildup of suspended small respiratory droplets and particles. Risk mitigation measures are useful tools that you can take, whether in your personal, business, or community, to take control back. Reinforce these and give your business, your employees, and your customers peace of mind. The definition of mitigation measures, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, is actions that people and communities can take to slow the spread of a new virus with pandemic potential. Mitigation measures for any public health threat are very important, regardless of whether a vaccine or a drug becomes widely available. Mask or face coverings can help prevent the spread of COVID-19. If everyone wore a mask and wore it properly, it would greatly reduce the spread of COVID-19, getting the spread to be at manageable levels. The purpose of a mask is to protect others around you. It won't protect you unless you're wearing an N95 mask. Simply washing your hands is an example of a mitigation measure. Hand washing is one of the easiest and most effective ways to prevent the spread of germs, viruses, or bacteria in general. Even if contact transmission is not a primary form of transmission for COVID-19, this is a great public health measure just to go ahead and make it a habit. Remember to wash your hands the right way. You've seen the photos. If you have been in a public place or have touched an item or surface that has been frequently touched by others, called touch points, door handles, tables, gas pumps, or shopping carts, remember to wash. It is also important to wash before touching your eyes, nose, or mouth, because that is how germs enter our bodies. And for those of you that are in the restaurant industry or not, may just need a refresher, remember to wash your hands before, during, and after preparing food, before eating food, before caring for someone who is sick, after blowing your nose, coughing, sneezing, or even touching the garbage. Let's talk about social distancing or physical distancing. Either way, avoid crowds. Stay 6 feet apart at a minimum when you're not out and about. Avoid the indoors wherever possible. When establishing your own standards for your business, pay close attention to doorways, bathrooms, and aisles while you're ensuring your physical distancing procedures. Okay, pop quiz. How many people think hand sanitizer is just as effective as hand washing? If I go out and work on my 1965 Shelby Mustang in my garage, a girl can dream, and I accidentally get grease all over my shirt. I go and I wash that shirt in the laundry, but I forgot the soap. Really, without soap, how clean will it be? It will likely be disinfected, and some of the grime may be gone due to the agitation, but it's not clean. Having said that, if soap and running water are not readily available, hand sanitizer is an alternative, but it is not as effective as washing your hands. Cleaning and disinfecting your public environment is also important. You should always clean the surface with soap and water, and then use disinfectants. Cleaning with soap and water reduces the number of germs, dirt, and impurities on the surface, while the disinfectant kills germs on the surface. Cleaning by itself does not kill germs like bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Sanitizing and disinfecting aim to reduce the amount of contamination present on a surface by killing germs. But disinfecting, by definition, kills more germs than sanitizing. Pay close attention to the labels on your disinfectants. In many cases, the back label has directions with special instructions. My Lysol bleach cleaner I have sitting next to me, it says to sanitize 30 seconds before wiping and disinfecting to leave on 5 minutes before wiping. This is especially important as your measures change or your personnel rotate in and out. COVID-19 is not going away anytime soon, and you need to be thinking ahead. If you haven't started planning, now is the time. You can get out in front for 2021. Take that time to understand how COVID-19 operates, how to mitigate problems in your establishment, and rebuild public and consumer confidence. I'm not going to read through all of our services. My point is that we have experts at your disposal that can help you. Here are a few of our highlights. Education and training. I always start here. BioPrep sets an industry-specific gold standard baseline for training. We offer our virtual Healthy Business Pledge for business owners just like you. The Healthy Business Pledge includes training for your employees, window decal for your establishment, public health certified compliance list, a virtual logo, and of course, we continuously update this information and send out updates to make sure that you are informed of any changes. Where circumstances and safety permit, we can also do this training live virtual or in person with small groups. Our infectious disease impact forecast combines risk mitigation and compliance support. It includes an online, virtual, or in-person assessment of your business. We then use a proprietary risk analysis model evaluating your business indicators and employed mitigation tools against COVID-19, environmental, occupation, and individual risks and trends that may be present in your business, and forecast industry-specific trends for the next 3 to 6 months, with potential projections for longer-term forecasts. We know what's going to happen in your future. Let us help you plan. As for mitigation tools, use them. Deploy those tools, technologies, and systems that work. We know vaccines work, and they are the most powerful game changer we have. They won't change unless people get vaccinated. Go do it and encourage others to get vaccinated. The basic mitigation measures, distance, washing your hands, masks, disinfecting, these have all been well documented throughout history, and we can learn a lot from them. Maximize technology wherever possible. HEPA filters, air exchanges or airflow, weighting systems, or safe UV technology. Take the time to ensure that your employees are following the appropriate measures. At some point, lawsuits and other things will come back around. Take the time now to take care of your employees and your customers. In closing, BioPrep, we offer customized public health solutions, consulting for businesses at the federal, state, local level. Our mission, as always will be, is to provide businesses with fact-based, research-based educational information and tools to allow you to bridge that gap between business and public health. And in order to ensure that you have the resources that you need to keep your employees, customers, and your business as safe as possible against public health threats. We discussed a lot of topics today regarding risk mitigation and other COVID-19 pandemic-related issues. Feel free to give me a call anytime. If you have questions, we're always here to help.
That was a great forum, so stay tuned for our very next one, which is going to be awesome.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
¿Necesita ayuda para pagar el cuidado de sus niños pequeños? Nosotros podemos asistir. Llame hoy a 863-577-2450 o vaya a elcpolk.org.
Our mission is to provide a caring and holistic treatment environment that affects a positive change in the mental well-being and quality of life of all persons we treat.
WQXM 1460M 99.9 FM es tu conexión directa con la comunidad hispana de Polk County. 100% en vivo y local. Noticias, música, participación en nuestra comunidad. Porque el contenido lo es todo. Ritmo 99.9, tan hispana como tú. Una estación DRC Broadcasting.
This looks great.
This is going to be an amazing story.
Today, what I'm here to talk to you about is building your brand virtually. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you the number one reason why people fail to launch their ideas. It's one simple thing. So stay with me. I'm going to go over a few things that are going to help you launch your brand in a virtual world. Join me. And action. All right, folks, so let's dive in and build your brand virtually. So what's the first thing that you should do when building your brand? Well, one, you should start brainstorming. Brainstorming your idea is probably one of the most important things that you have to do. You have to write it down, jot it down, take notes on your phone, write it on a piece of paper, whatever you have to do to make those notes so that you can start building your virtual brand. So what kind of notes would you start taking? Well, what's your brand about? Start writing notes about that. What's your brand about? What have you noticed that makes your brand stand out? And also, what makes you, the person that is representing your brand, excited about your brand? When people ask me what they should showcase about their brand, I often tell them, what are you passionate about? What's obviously some kind of passion drove you to build your brand or to open up your business. So start there first. Go to your notes and write down three things. Write down three simple things that made you start your brand. So I'll give you an example. The way that my brand started was all I wanted to do was build a website where DJs competed around the world against other DJs in scratch battles. Now, back 15, 20 years ago, when we were in the world of MySpace, I lived in the world of old school turntables and DJs and the events that I would go to. And one of the things I always wanted to do, and I was the guy there with the camera filming all the DJs and having a good time doing it. But the one thing I wanted to do was, we had the slow internet. Everybody remembers that. America Online. We had slow internet, so we couldn't, on top of slow, small megapixel cameras, I mean, kids, what you have now is Buzz Lightyear's ahead of its time. For us to do anything like that back then, it took hours upon hours to upload. You would have to wait for everything to load in order to watch it. And then, of course, we didn't have the phones that you could just look at it. It was all American Online, so you'd have to go home, wait. It was insane. So, but at the time, I had this idea. All I wanted to do was watch DJs from around the world, DJs, either DJ battles or just play music. And I just wanted to enjoy that music, where I wanted to watch two DJs DJ battling against each other. Turntablism at its finest. So I call up this gentleman one day in Orlando. I don't remember the name of the business, but I know I knew that I looked up website designer. And when I found the number, I was excited. I was like, yes, I'm about to do this. It can't cost that much. Called the guy up. He's like, hello. I'm like, hello. Do you guys design websites? We sure do. I said, I've got this idea for a website. He's like, well, what do you got? And so I'm thinking like, man, he's about to do this for me. I started telling him like, I want to just record DJs, I want to allow DJs to record themselves and for them to battle it out and for people to log in and they do like a thumbs up or thumbs down. So who wins the DJ battle or the scratch battle. And very simple, very easy. I'm going to make a ton of money off this website. And he says, okay, $80,000. And I was just like, I remember just the sinking feeling of thinking to myself, $80,000? $80,000 for a website? That's insane. So then I thought to myself, while I was on the phone in that millisecond that he had just said $80,000, I didn't know if he was just jerking me around or if he was like really serious. $80,000. I said, for that much I can go to college myself and learn how to design a website. And he just says, well, why don't you? Click. And that was it. That's when Studio Time Media was born. And back then it was called Studio Time Radio because that's what I don't know. It was just, that's what it started as. I didn't have the money for college at the time. I was a single dad raising a 9-10-year-old son. So I started searching the internet, dabbling in the internet, learning how to do the early beginnings of website design, and I did, but it was in comparison to what I know how to do now. It was a professional using Photoshop and versus a kid in kindergarten with his crayons. At least that's what I see it now. But So I decided at that moment that I was going to go to college, So about a year later, after a move into Lakeland, Florida, made a decision. It's time to go to college. And I enrolled in college, got a graphic design degree and graphic design and multimedia degree. And that the day that I finished college launched me forward into what I do now. But when I have those clients and they come to me, I think about that idea. I think about the concept. I think about what it took for me to have the idea to build on my brand. And that's what it was. I was mad. So think about being mad, or think about being surprised, or think about those little tear jerkers, the heart pullers, the things that make you feel a certain type of emotion. Those are the things that you should be doing your podcasting on, your short videos on. Those are the things that you should start utilizing when you take pictures or photos of something. Those tear jerkers, the heart pullers, the motivators, things that motivate people. Those are the things that are perfect. They're perfect for helping you build your brand. So let's talk about three things right now. You can do a podcast. A podcast can be an audio podcast, strictly audio. You can do a video podcast, which is just strictly video. You can utilize a small camera. You can use a small camera, which is basically your phone, and now you guys got to think about this. Phones have the best technology now than they ever had. So you can take a phone with a small, you can take a phone with just some legs, some kind of backing to hold it up, and then take your nice phone and put that phone to record. Put that phone to make your commercials. Use that phone to talk into it. And once you start talking, use content. Delete the content that you don't want to use, but keep the content that you do want to use. So say, for instance, since I'm speaking of podcasting, you can shoot a video and shoot the video in about 15 minute segments. Okay? 15 minutes is about how long you can keep a person's attention. But during that 15 minutes, talk about something that you're passionate about, that is passion for your business. Even if it's about how you opened your business and the steps that it took to open your business. And then finish up with a visit my website at netzarodriguez.com. You can take that same content, strip the audio from it, and now you have a YouTube video that's your video that you shot, and you have the audio, which is put on an entirely different platform. So now you've multiplied yourself times YouTube and times Vimeo. So when we talk about podcasting, we are also talking about blogs. You can blog with content that has been typed out, and that's fine. That can be just a simple blog. Blog for the day. Utilize a light and camera to get the best lighting for your blog. Type that out. Then you take whatever you typed out and turn and verbalize it, say it into a camera. And now you have your written blog that has now become a video blog that has also become audio content. And it's now you've multiplied that one piece of content times 3. You can go on your website, your Vimeo, your Twitter, your Instagram, your YouTube. I mean, there's a ton of platforms. One of the most popular platforms now is a platform that's called Anchor. And so you can take your audio from your video and strip it, or I say strip it, but basically you separate it using software. It's easy software that we probably already have on our laptop. It's free. You take that software, you strip the audio from it, you load it to your Anchor, and then Anchor will send it to 9 different platforms for free. And so now on 9 different platforms, you've just multiplied one podcast times 9 platforms of audio content that have all directed back to your website. So if I did a podcast today about how to do a podcast, I can take this same audio content, separate it from my video, load it into my Anchor, and that's going to go to 9 different platforms. And they're popular platforms. And at the end of the day, the last thing that it will probably say is visit me at netzarodriguez.com. Okay, so we've talked about doing podcasting, and it's just as simple as cell phone, big camera. If you want to go a little bit mid-level, because I guarantee that some of your phones cost a lot more than a darn GoPro. GoPro, this little tiny thing, probably under $300. Get you one. It shoots video in wide format. Excellent audio. You can take it about anywhere. It comes with all kinds of little gizmos and gadgets. If you're a busybody and you're on the go all the time, my kids hate when I'm running around with this, but you put your GoPro in there and it's hands free and whatever you're doing. Little tripod. Or if you don't want to go super expensive and put a lot of money into it right now until you've started really getting yourself in depth, then just go with your cell phone. The cell phone is going to be your best tool to shoot video and to also upload that video into your computer. All right, so that's podcasting. So What should your podcast start with? Remember, 3 things: tearjerker, heart puller, and motivator. Those are 3 things that I'd like for you to start with. Tearjerker, heart puller, motivator. The next thing, how can you expand upon your podcast? Strip the audio, load it into Anchor. There's a lot of other sources that you can use, platforms that you can use. I particularly like to use this particular platform because I don't have to go and load my audio into 9 other platforms. Anchor's going to do it for me. And at the end of the day, if my podcast is good enough for people to listen to, guess what? Every time you listen to it, or somebody else listens to it, or it's repetitively listened to around the world on those 9 different platforms, Anchor is going to pay you. Yes. You can get paid for your podcast if your podcast is listened to repetitively, because Anchor will place an advertisement that relates to your podcast, and it plays just like an advertisement. And every time that advertisement's played, you get paid. So that's how you can monetize off your podcast. The second part of podcasting, you take your video and you can place it onto your YouTube account, a Vimeo account. And you know what? Quite frankly, our world is changing. Our world is now moving into internet television. And most of you probably already have a smart TV and don't even know it, because we're still using the outdated cable network. Okay, so what's internet TV? Internet TV is it's wireless. It absolutely is 100% wireless, and you can load apps on it. So some of the types of apps that I have are Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. I mean, there's a ton to name, but the one thing that makes the platform I like to use different is called Roku. And the reason why is Roku is one of those platforms, and there's others as well, but it's one of those platforms that allows people like you and me, regular Joes, to be able to load our own channels. Yes, folks, I said that. Our own channel, your own channel, onto a internet television platform. And then as I search my channels looking for something to watch, I can type in, what do I like? Studio Time Media. And just the same way you do a Google search, you do a Roku search, and Studio Time TV, along with other Studio Time named brands. There isn't that many. There's like something studios and this and that studios, but I'm the only Studio Time TV. Click, it downloads the app onto the internet television, and so then when I'm or you are searching through channels, which we call as apps, and I can load content onto that channel remotely. Do your research. Look up Roku and see how far their reach is around the world. And then also see how far their reach is for our Latino community. There are a lot of countries that speak Spanish. And since they speak Spanish, our Latino community, when they see a Spanish named channel, no matter what country they're in, they can download that channel to their Roku device, and now they've got a channel from the United States that's playing on their Roku in another country. That's what's amazing about it. Now, if you have an English only speaking channel, that's fine too. The world speaks English also. So imagine that your channel, maybe you have a cooking channel, maybe you have an exercise channel, maybe your channel is all about fitness, or it's about fitness and cooking, or just the magnitude of things that are out there for people to search for. The world has now gone from being on our phone and watching it all the time, where now we can just relax at home and we can still look up the things that we want and then skip to the channels that we like. My particular channel, we haven't launched exclusively. We haven't really told anybody about it. This is the first time ever telling anybody about it. Studio Time TV on Roku. You have to search it the same way that you would search a like Google. You just type the name in your search, and then it searches it, and then download it as a channel. So imagine that something as simple and small as a blog is digital documentation about you and how you grow your brand. The podcast is digital documentation about how you have lived your life to give towards the growth of your brand. Internet television. That's the new frontier, people. It is the new frontier. So take the time, develop yourself, write out a plan, come up with some actions, tearjerkers, heart pullers, and motivators. Start with 15-minute blocks. Take those 15-minute blocks and work your way up until you get to a half hour. A half hour should be able to be comfortable for content. And then remember, you have an entire day that you're carrying this little thing. You're carrying that little thing around. And it could literally be small little snippets of things that you capture, things that you record, and then you can use that as content, as B-roll for the podcast or for remembering what you wanted to talk about. The last thing I want to talk to you about before I tell you what the number one reason is why people don't launch their brand is live streaming. Now, I know that you have to be familiar with live streaming. You have live streams on YouTube, you have live streams on Facebook, you have live streams that can be pre-recorded, edited, and streamed live while you're already headed out on vacation for spring break. So a live stream can be something just as short as 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes for you just to pop in and say hi, but it's live. And the thing about going live is you're not bound by just being in front of the camera. You can actually record the content, create it in a way that makes it nice and professional looking, and then stream it live as if it was happening right then and there. And that's the beauty of live stream. Or you can just go lights, camera, action, and you're right in front of the camera, whether it's this camera, your professional camera, or a full production set. Go live, talk about your brand, and talk about the things that are important to you. Go live and sell the products that you want to sell, and don't just wait for it to be found on a website lingering out there on the internet, because I tell you what, the world is becoming, the internet, let me tell you what, the internet is becoming more and more saturated than ever before. More and more people are turning to the internet to put their content up, and their goal is to beat you. Their goal is to beat you, because if they get their content viewed and they can monetize off that content, and and they're popular because of their content, they make money off of that content. And you can be too. You can be one of those people that is making money off of your content, off of your cooking shows, off of your exercise videos, off of your motivational speeches. You can make money off your content. You can make money off of your art. You can make money off of your own channel. And at the end of the day, folks, isn't that what we're building a business for? So that we can earn money to live the life that we want to live? We don't have to be greedy to live the life that we want to live. We just have to have a goal and chase that goal. And I would like to see every one of you with your own channels on television, because I know that every one of you have something that I don't know about, but I want to hear one day, hey, go visit my channel. Which one? Go visit me on Roku. Search term Café con Anita. Search term La Revancha channel. Search term how to build a Roku channel. Whatever it takes. And if you don't know, and if you need help building your brand, building your channel, building your podcast, building your website, connecting all the dots, because I know how hard it is to connect all those dots. It's hard. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to sit down, draw it all out, take the steps that you need. Every one of you deserve to finish your podcast, to finish your sentence, to finish your audio, to finish your television show. And I did not forget to tell you the number one reason why people fail to launch. You want to know the number one reason why people fail to launch? Because they sit on their idea. And they sit on their idea. And they sit on that idea. And they never take the first step to even pop open a pen, get a piece of paper, and write one first note. I guarantee it. If you just do one thing today, take one piece of paper and put a X on it. X marks the spot. Because I tell you what, there is some point or something or somewhere that you've had in your life where somebody said, X marks the spot, sign here, to the most important thing that you were going to do. Whether it was buy a car, buy a house, buy something important, put something away that was something important for something important. Well, this is the most important thing that you have to do to launch your idea. X marks the spot. It's a place to begin. It's a point for you to launch your idea. So take that pen, get a piece of paper, make the X, start from there. Once again, my name is Netza Rodriguez from Studio Time Media. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of La Revancha. And if you need anything, feel free to contact me at netzarodriguez.com. Thank you so much. Thank you to Anna. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Jiménez y Carrillo, tus abogados con más de 25 años de experiencia en el estado de la Florida. Hacemos reclamos de todo tipo de accidentes, dueño de casa o propiedad. ¿Tienes reclamo al seguro? Luchamos por sus derechos. Comunícate a nuestras oficinas 407-228-2080. Nuestras consultas son completamente gratis. Somos tu firma de abogados de confianza, lealtad y compromiso.
Don't go away, stay tuned as our collaborators and sponsors and advertisers are bringing you some great information on their product and services. So don't go.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
Hello everyone! I'm so happy to be here. My name is Isabella Vega. I am 17, I'm a student, and I'm also the editor-in-chief of Sense of Self magazine. Sense of Self is an in-print and online space dedicated to spotlighting the most authentic and genuine individuals in those fields of art, entertainment, and music. I created Sense of Self at the beginning of March of last year as a way for me to fight quarantine boredom and, as a journalist, show how an interview can be a lot more than just a headline grabber and an actual think piece for people to get to know the person. I've also grown up as a young woman and a young Latina, desperately searching for role models in a world that is so oversaturated by people who are fake or who are not really who they seem in the entertainment industry. So since then, we have grown to a group of about 10 women who are writers and editors and photographers and artists who work on our publication. Issue 1 was released last June. I was able to donate the proceeds from the issue to a plethora of charities that our features selected. And it felt really great to be able to give back to so many amazing communities. It was definitely a challenge getting to know the graphic design aspect and the printing process, but thankfully I had some amazing colleagues at other magazines that I've worked with who really helped me through the entire process. Going into the future, as I go into college soon, I am hoping to be able to study journalism and a little bit of business because I truly believe in Sense of Self and want it to be the next go-to publication for members of my generation to find an authentic voice in print media. Thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to be here. Y que vivan los Latinos! Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Hello, my name is Emilio Luis Herman III, and I'm the director for the short film Old Cuban. Now, Old Cuban is about a degenerate grandfather and his grandkids, and his attempt to pass off as Cuban in a Cuban restaurant to receive a Cuban discount. Now, like all great projects, we need money to get started, and that's where you come in. We're planning on shooting on March 30th of 2021, and we're trying to raise $400 for props, for costumes, and for food for all of the crew. But if you can't, just share and like this instead. The link will be in the description below. Thank you.
Don't go away, stay tuned as our collaborators and sponsors and advertisers are bringing you some great information on their product and services. So don't go away.
Hola, soy Ángel Jiménez.
Y José Carrillo, de Jiménez y Carrillo, sus abogados.
Con nuestra oficina principal en Miami, al igual que Orlando, Kissimmee y Lakeland, con más de 25 años representando a nuestra comunidad latina con todo tipo de casos, especialmente reclamos de seguros y accidentes. Recuerde, no hay peor pregunta que la que no se haga.
Llámenos
para una consulta gratis.
¿Necesita ayuda para pagar el cuidado de sus niños pequeños? Nosotros podemos asistir. Llame hoy a 863-577-2450 o vaya a elcpolk.org.
Our mission is to provide a caring and holistic treatment environment that affects a positive change in the mental well-being and quality of life of all persons we treat.
Over the long course of human history, an innumerable number of innocent souls have lived under the oppressive iron fist of a totalitarian government. The notion of the people having any say in the matters of the nation was a rare concept in practice, and one which was often reserved only for the elites. Throughout the ages, people have made tremendous sacrifices, have bled, have died, and have endured ghastly fates, just in the endeavor to secure the right to forge their own national identity and destiny. But here in the United States of America, This civil right has been ours to partake in since the very inception of our great republic, but it was a right which was not reserved for all. Hence, many more people willingly continued to devote their lives to ensuring that everyone had a right to vote, a right to be heard. Because of their work, their struggles, and their sacrifices, we today live in a beautifully enlightened society where the young, the old, white or black, man or woman, has the fundamental human right to have an impact in steering the very course of human civilization itself. Yet despite this historical reality, most Americans only vote every 4 years during the presidential election. Most pay little attention to local or state races. This shocking truth is a direct affront to those who gave the last full measure of their devotion to secure for us the right to have a legitimate voice. We have not only a civic duty to participate in democracy, but we also owe it to ourselves to take part in this great experiment. What happens in Washington, D.C. may not affect us, but what happens in our city government, county government, and state government will. Everything from school choice, to utility prices, to the minimum wage, to economic opportunities, and to the very quality of our drinking water can be voted on when you participate in local and state elections. If we don't vote, others will vote in our place and make the decisions for us. Often these people will not have our needs or wants in mind. Often these people don't even acknowledge that we even exist. Complaining doesn't lead to change. Action does. We have in the very palms of our hands a right that generations have fought hard to secure. We ought to use it, and we ought to use it wisely. It is a big responsibility after all, but it can lead to a better future not just for ourselves, but for our posterity. By exercising our right to vote, we the people ensure that the government of the people, by the people, and for the people does not perish from the face of this earth. Please, get involved, get informed, and go out and vote. This is AJ Rodriguez of the Deep Think Podcast.
That was a great forum, so stay tuned for our very next one, which is going to be awesome.
¿Necesita ayuda para pagar el cuidado de sus niños pequeños? Nosotros podemos asistir. Llame hoy a 863-577-2450 o vaya a elcpolk.org.
Tus abogados con más de 25 años de experiencia en el estado de la Florida. Hacemos reclamos de todo tipo de accidentes, dueño de casa o propiedad. ¿Tienes reclamo al seguro? Luchamos por sus derechos. Comunícate a nuestras oficinas 407-228-2080. Nuestras consultas son completamente gratis. Somos tu firma de abogados de confianza, lealtad y compromiso.
WQXM 1460M 99.9 FM es tu conexión directa con la comunidad hispana de Polk County. 100% en vivo y local. Noticias, música, participación en nuestra comunidad. Porque el contenido lo es todo. Ritmo 99.9, tan hispana como tú. Una estación DRC Broadcasting.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
Hey there, Ashley Connell here, CEO and founder of Prowess Project, and it is so awesome to be here today, especially to talk to women about business. That's what Prowess Project does. We are all about women in the workforce, and in order to tell you a bit about Prowess, I think it would be best if I told you a little bit more about my story and how I got here. So background, I have 15 years of B2B tech marketing experience. I did that here in Austin, Texas, as well as in London, England. And I realized at the end of that 15 years that I had this ongoing background anxiety of how I was going to continue this career that I loved, but then also have children someday. So I hopped onto Google, for better or for worse, and found the horrific statistic that, according to Harvard Business Review, if a woman is out of the workforce for just 3 years, she loses a total of 37% of her compensation power forever, cannot get it back. And this happens to 43% of women. That just, it shocked me. I was disgusted, I was deflated, and then became determined to find a solution. So went back to trusty Google and tried to find what I was looking for. Who is solving this problem? And I couldn't find what I was looking for. So I went out and talked to hundreds of women who were in this scenario, who are educated, experienced, took off time, and were trying to get back in. And so I asked them what their biggest barriers to reentry were, and I was shocked by their response. It was confidence. These extremely educated and experienced women, they didn't have the confidence to return. And when I dug deeper, because they didn't have that confidence, they didn't know what they didn't know, and they didn't know where to go. And that's how Prowess helps them. Prowess is an integrated solution that takes women from home to hired. We do that through a full journey. First, it is upskilling. What is the latest technology, project management, market trends? Then it is confidence building. What do I want to go do next? What is my career plan to get there? How do I interview? Then it is a community of like-minded women who are in the exact same position. And while they're going through that journey, Prowess is taking hundreds of data points on them, on, of course, their skills and expertise, but also behavior style, learning style, communication style, and value alignment. And we use that when we're matching them up with jobs and potential employers. Because we're looking at the compatibility of both emotional intelligence, the behavior style, if you will, as well as skill, we're finding that that 94% of employers feel like they have a better fit from Prowess candidates. That's huge. And it's also speeding up the hiring and ramp up time. It's cutting it in half. And so again, that's what Prowess is. We help women get in female-friendly, flexible jobs. Next question is all about how Prowess Project helps women and companies both go remotely. This one is really, really interesting. From the very beginning, Prowess had remote work in its blood. When I was talking to all these women, what they told me they needed were these jobs that it wasn't a 9 to 5. It was going to be flexible and possibly remote. So they would have time to be both the primary caregiver as well as a professional. So from the very beginning, we designed Prowess to help women find gigs that are remote. But what that meant is during our certification, we needed to teach them on how to do that. So of course, we go through a lot of the logistics that you have heard about, like, for example, make sure you have internet speed up to X, Y, and Z. Make sure you have a quiet place to work. Make sure that you understand how to use Zoom and Google Meets. But on both sides, the talent and the employers, it's extremely critical to know how to show empathy and create connectedness between each other in business while you're remote. And so that's what Prowess does too. We help both the talent and the employees think about the little things that are going to take them very far in creating these relationships. We have a full course that talks just about this. And as far as some quick snippets, one thing that is extremely easy that is often overlooked is often meetings are kicked off by, hey, how's everyone doing? You get a bunch of fines, blah, blah, blah. Well, stop for a second and ask them, fine. Why just fine? What's going on in life? Ask a follow-up question and then remember what they say. You will see how their eyes light up like, oh my God, they actually care about me and what's going on. Like, outside of my work life, and then ask them about it later. It's just a small gesture where you are looking at them and seeing them and knowing the people on the other end of the screen as people, not just coworkers. So I think that that is really, really key. We work with employers in order to help them do that and create ramp up documents and resources to help them create the best experience on both the candidate and the employer side when matching these up. The last question is, what are we seeing in 2021 as far as trends in the workforce? Well, first and foremost, COVID-19 has devastated working mothers. In the past year, 5.4 million women have been pushed out of their workforce because they had to decide between childcare and their career. 5.4 million. And that's in addition to the 43% that I was talking about before. It's heartbreaking. And Prowess is that landing pad. Prowess provides an opportunity for women to come into our program, upskill, gain confidence, meet like minded people, and then get jobs once they're ready. So I think it's really, really key to look at what's happening in the market. And there is all of this untapped talent, in particular, working mothers who do want to come back. They just need flexible ways of doing so. As far as what we're seeing on the employer side, we are seeing so many more employers coming to us looking for talent than we did Q2 and 3 of 2020. What we are seeing is more and more companies coming to Prowess because of our mission and because we're focused on diversity, which is great news that more people are seeing how important that is. What we're also seeing is employers are having less patience when it comes to ramp up speed, which is why Prowess, looking at emotional intelligence and behavior style and matching them up with candidates, employer up with candidates based on those skills is so critical because we're seeing that it's cutting the ramp up time in half. And then lastly, there has been a massive shift in focusing on quote unquote soft skills versus only hard skills. And that is a huge opportunity for women in the workforce. I personally believe that today's hiring process, the interview process, the resume, they do women a disservice. When you look at your resume, all you really see on there is places that you used to work and where you went to school. It shows nothing about who you are as a person. It shows nothing about your quote unquote soft skills and your leadership skills and how crucially important that is. And when I talk to employers about this, they're frustrated. They're really frustrated because they don't get to know anything about the candidates until they maybe get on the phone with them on an interview. And then they don't really know anything about them until this person has been on the job for 6 months. And if you do need to let someone go and hire for that position, that can cost employers 250% of that person's salary. Turnover is a huge wasted cost. And again, that's where Prowess is really focusing on looking at emotional intelligence, making that as critical of requirements as it is as skills, because you can teach skills oftentimes. And emotional intelligence is really key considering you're spending so much time with that person on a day-to-day basis. So to just summarize, this is what we're seeing in the market. First and foremost, diversity. Love, love, love to see that. Love that employers are focusing on diversity. We're also seeing all of those women who were pushed out of the workforce due to COVID. We're seeing that they want an opportunity to come in, but not just yet. And Prowess provides a landing pad for them, resources, community, and jobs. And then lastly, we're seeing this focus on emotional intelligence, especially after the year that we've gone through. People need to give each other breaks. People need to remember that people are people and not just workers. We're parents, we're caregivers, we're sandwich generations. They're all these different things. And employers are going to be held accountable to making sure that they have a good work-life balance and or benefits for specifically caregivers. And so I'm pumped to see that. Thank you again for your time today. If you're interested in Prowess Project, whether it is you are a woman wanting to get back into the workforce or make a pivot, come over to prowessproject.com. 70% of the women who take our certification course secure jobs in 3 months. And if you are an employer and you're looking for talent, whether that's project management, operations, digital marketing, HR, really runs the gamut, consider Prowess Project. We are an untapped talent pool of these women who are chomping at the bit, who are vetted and certified and experienced, and want to work with good people who value them and value the fact that they are mothers and caregivers. So again, hop on over to prowessproject.com. And if you need anything whatsoever, feel free to shoot me an email at ashley@prowessproject.com. Thanks so much.
That was a great forum. So stay tuned for our very next one, which is going to be awesome.
WQXM 1460M 99.9 FM es tu conexión directa con la comunidad hispana de Polk County. 100% en vivo y local. Noticias, música, participación en nuestra comunidad. Porque el contenido lo es todo. Ritmo 99.9, tan hispana como tú. Una estación DRC Broadcasting.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
Hello, and welcome to La Revancha 2021 Women's and Business Summit. I'm Dr. Negron Munoz, and I am the owner of Yantra Psychiatric Services, located at 1014 South Florida Avenue in Lakeland. Our phone number is 863-450-3067. As can be implied from the name of my business, I am a psychiatrist, and I am specialized in adult, child and adolescent, and forensic psychiatry. As you can imagine, COVID has severely impacted not only my business, but the amount of people I see at my practice. Dedicating myself to mental health has always been a passion of mine. It has been particularly challenging this past year. We've seen an increased number of people seeking help due to the increased levels of depression and anxiety caused by the pandemic of COVID-19. It has also been difficult, and I will be fully transparent on myself and my staff, given the increased demand and needs. Being human myself, it is very difficult to see how others are suffering. And the particular difference this time is that we did not have complete resolutions to provide to our patients. Normally, when we work for any type of crisis or mental health issue or just life issue, we come up with a treatment plan with resolutions on how to accomplish or attain a goal so symptoms can be diminished and the current stressor can be less. COVID, for all of us, has thrown in an uncertainty wrench because we don't have a timeline as to when it will end. We didn't know when the vaccines would become available. We did not know when people could resume their regular lives, their jobs, how they could deal with their families. So all these issues just incremented the level of stress and anxiety, not only for our patients, but for myself as a clinician in trying to help people resolve their situations. As a small business owner, we had to close our office for a couple of months, and thankfully, given new technology, we were able to continue to provide services via telepsychiatry. This is not the case for other businesses, and this was not a solution for other types of businesses. It is known that COVID-19 has posed not only an impact on our mental health, but it is known to have caused a public health impact in general. Current researchers are talking that the next pandemic will be a mental health pandemic as the result of COVID-19. Since this is a Women's in Business Summit, we know that COVID has had major economic shock on businesses. On a survey conducted last year, right after COVID started, between March 28th and April 4th of 2020, it was noted that 43% of businesses had closed. Employment was decreased by 40%. A known fact, or an interesting fact in case you don't know, is that 50% of Americans work for small businesses, which includes you, me, and many others. Small businesses were forced to close, and at that time, 38% of them thought that it was very unlikely that they would be open again by the end of the year. A lot of the factors contributing to the stressors of small businesses, including having little cash on hand, therefore not being prepared for this type of lengthy impact on the business. A lot of businesses dealt with the impact by cutting expenses, increasing their debt, or declaring bankruptcy. And as you may know, the decrease in debt many times included letting go of employees. All this has led to increased anxiety, not only for employees, but also for us as business owners. As we know, we understand the term bereavement as the loss of a loved one, but bereavement is also understood to encompass when we have the loss of anything. And COVID has led us not only to the loss of loved ones, but also to our dreams, our businesses, family members, co-workers, and to some extent, our freedom. Here in Florida, we have been fortunate or unfortunate, depending on how you want to see it, that the state opened up pretty quickly. There are still other states that remain with high, strict guidelines in place. So therefore, there are still people that are having challenges in socializing, being able to go out to eat at a restaurant. As human beings, we are social beings, and it is important for us to connect with other people. At 1 year of this pandemic, like I said, here in Florida, we have been a little bit more fortunate or unfortunate, depends on how you see it, in being able to go out and interact with others. What have been some of the other effects that the COVID-19 pandemic has had on mental health? In addition to the bereavement and all these losses, we have had to deal with isolation, loss of income, and fear. All these things are triggering mental health conditions or exacerbating existing ones. Many people have dealt with these issues by increasing their use of alcohol and drug use, and it has also led to increased insomnia and anxiety. Meanwhile, while COVID-19 itself can lead to neurological and mental complications such as delirium, agitation, and stroke, people with pre-existing mental, neurological, or substance use disorders are also more vulnerable to contracting the SARS-CoV-2 infection, COVID-19, and they stand a higher risk of outcomes and even death. So not only are they facing increased risk because of the mental and financial, social implications that COVID had, but that also made them more vulnerable to worse outcomes. Anxiety is mainly that uncertainty of the future. And COVID has certainly left us with many uncertainties. People who never before understood or knew the severity of anxiety have experienced increased levels. Depression, the way I like to look at it, is reminiscing on the past. It has also led to increased depression as we look back on what we had and no longer have. Loss of businesses, family members, and freedom to some extent. What can we do to make ourselves feel better if we're anxious and scared about COVID-19? Certainly, one of the first things that now we are having here in Florida is that they have opened up vaccinations for anybody above the age of 18. So we encourage you to get vaccinated because this will lessen the likelihood that you will get ill. Of the things that we also have been recommended and that have been useful throughout the past year is to connect with family and friends via phone calls or video chats. If you feel isolated as a small business owner, definitely here, the Puerto Rican and Hispanic Chamber of Commerce can offer you opportunities such as this one to connect with other business owners that can understand your fears, what you're going through, because not everybody will understand what you're currently going through. Talk with people you trust about your concerns, how you're feeling. Try to get tips for staying connected. Try to stay away from watching, reading, or listening to news stories and social media. Although all these forms of communication can serve a purpose, certainly there are many inputs that we have no control over and leave us feeling even more anxious, worrying as to what is real and what is not. So sometimes disconnecting from these sources can be healthy and helpful. Certainly being connected to the internet or news all the time is just going to increase your level of anxiety. Make time to unwind. Remember to breathe. It is important that we breathe. Take a minute to take a deep breath and exhale. Do that now. Many times we are so caught up in our minds in trying to figure out things that although we are automatically breathing, we forget to breathe consciously. Remember to stretch, to meditate. Also, it is important that we try to eat healthy, well-balanced meals, exercise. And this one is really going to sound almost crazy to many of you. Try to get a lot of sleep. I know that many of us have lost sleep trying to figure out what our next step is going to be. But we certainly have to get sleep in order to be able to think better and function better. The pandemic has certainly impacted all of us in different ways. I encourage you to, first of all, focus on you and take time for yourself. Once you take time and focus on yourself, as hard as that may seem, then you will be in a better place to deal with your business and the challenges that come with it. If you have not already done so, and I imagine that at other forums during this summit, they will be talking to you about how you can deal with the financial impact COVID has had on your business. If you were not able to take advantage of the CARES Act, there's currently, if you applied for the payment protection program that came out the first time around, there's a second round, and this can be of help to you. This is something that if you use it for their qualified items that they have identified, it can be forgiven completely. There are also other loans from the Small Business Administration that do need to be paid back, but are at a small interest rate and maybe can help you stay afloat. So if you have questions, reach out to your accountant, reach out to a friend, reach out to me, reach out to somebody that has been going through this to see how they can help you. Certainly, like I said, isolation during this time has led us to be more anxious and depressed, worrying how we can keep our business afloat, how we're going to take care of our families. And many times we don't even worry about ourselves. We worry about our employees and how it is also affecting them if we need to lay them off and no longer have employment. There is the World Health Organization has a new slogan that states, and they're promoting, there is no health without mental health. So it is important that you take care of your mental health so your physical health can be in tune. Take time to relax. I know that sounds impossible. I know the feeling. Certainly in my field, I have felt the pressure of increased demands to try to be able to accommodate as many people to help them with their mental health needs and how to cope and deal and be able to continue to survive during this pandemic. Reach out there if you're self-employed. Like I said, seek for help, maybe short term. Just talk to someone. I'm sure the chamber has many opportunities and can connect you with other members that you can connect with and talk about what your concerns are. Or maybe just vent and see what they have done. Our solutions will be individual and will not be the same, but at least we can have a sense of connecting and seeing that we're all on the same boat. If you have any questions or feel you could benefit from counseling or feel you need to talk to somebody, feel free to call us at Yantra Psychiatric Services at 863-450-3067. I'm sure we can all get through this. And what is particularly different about this time is that the pandemic is something that is affecting all of us, not just you. So stay safe, be well, and take care of yourself. Thank you.
Don't go away, stay tuned as our collaborators and sponsors and advertisers are bringing you some great information on their product and services. So don't go away.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
Our mission is to provide a caring and holistic treatment environment that affects a positive change in the mental well-being and quality of life of all persons we treat.
Hello, I'm Domingo Garcia, National President of Blue Line, and the issue we're talking about today, femicide, is one of the most important issues facing our country and this world today. Just this week in Atlanta, Georgia, a white male, 21 years old, killed 6 Asian women, 7 women total, because he was angry that he was maybe having a sex addict or whatever, and he wanted to take his anger out on innocent women who had nothing to do with him and kill them and murder them in cold blood. Unfortunately, this happens too many times all over. Jealous husbands and boyfriends and people who are just random, who are attacking women and killing them without even asking or having a reason to do so. This has to stop. And the only way we can stop this is by educating, especially our young men, about the reasons that their anger needs to be controlled and that they never and should always treat women with respect and always treat women with the dignity they deserve. Women need to be taught to look for red flags. If they see a man who loses his temper, who hits them the first time, he's going to hit them again. A man who threatens to kill them or himself, that's a red flag. You need to make sure that you get away from them and get help for them and get help for yourself. So as we look at this conference and the issues that we are facing today, education is key to making sure that men and women know their rights and what to do. Second, mental health is very important. Making sure that the counselors are there to help people before it escalates, and they're trained to de-escalate situations before they become violent and possibly deadly. Now, none of this is going to be simple. None of this is going to be easy. All of this is going to take time. But if we have people like everybody in this conference and people like in LULAC that are working to make sure that this issue is dealt with head on, and that we are able to respect and take care of our mothers, our wives, our daughters, our nieces, whoever they may be, to make sure that violence is never the answer for whatever issue may be happening in a marriage, in a relationship, or whatever. And so femicide is an issue that has to be dealt with at both a national and local level. LULAC looks forward to working with everybody to making sure that we're able to slowly and gradually make this an issue that we can conquer and beat, and make sure that everybody in this world, especially the women who are the ones that give life, are treated fairly and without ever having to fear a femicide in their lives. Thank you.
Jiménez y Carrillo, tus abogados con más de 25 años de experiencia en el estado de la Florida. Hacemos reclamos de todo tipo de accidentes, dueño de casa o propiedad. ¿Tienes reclamo al seguro? Luchamos por sus derechos. Comunícate a nuestras oficinas 407-228-2080. Nuestras consultas son completamente gratis. Somos tu firma de abogados de confianza, lealtad y compromiso.
My name is Allison Foley Rothrock. I'm the founder of an organization called the Red Tent Initiative. We are a network of survivors and allies working to end abuse and exploitation in our communities. We originally started in 2015. We wanted to do a fundraiser that would get together some money to help domestic violence organizations in our area. And we decided to host our event on the 31st of March, which is the final day of International Women's History Month. It's also Transgender Awareness Day, and it's the eve of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So we really embraced the intersection of all of these things, and how that date in particular brings to mind just how far we have come as women, but also how far we really have to go in our society to properly protect women and girls, to come together and change the conversation in our culture around women and girls especially, but also around the whole conversation around domestic violence, abuse and exploitation, in the forms of human trafficking and sexual assault as well. So we started with an open mic night. We invited a bunch of speakers from our community. I particularly reached out to women who I saw as leaders in our community and asked them to come and just talk a little bit about these topics and their own thoughts and experiences. And what really stood out to me, what was very powerful, was that each of these women that I saw as a leader and someone I looked up to in our community had their own personal story of abuse and exploitation. Each and every one of them was a survivor. And so what we originally had conceived of as this kind of one-off event that maybe we'd do it once a year and raise some money to give to another organization, kind of bloomed and blossomed into a larger idea of an organization that would give a platform to survivors to talk about our own stories. Because as a survivor myself, I knew that speaking about my story opens this kind of door in other people. it's a whole different level of connection with another person when you realize that you share this experience. So I had realized in my work, in my day job, my for-profit life, I'm an immigration attorney, and I've spent a lot of time working with immigrant survivors of abuse and exploitation. And generally amongst attorneys, you're not supposed to share about your own personal experiences with your clients. A lot of times, elder attorneys, especially the sort of old guard, they advocate for this kind of standoffish relationship where, you don't want to get too personal with your clients. But particularly in my work with immigrant survivors, I had realized that revealing this part of myself that was really very tender, this part of myself that felt very vulnerable, talking to clients that were experiencing abuse or exploitation, or that were just barely beginning the process of trying to extract themselves from an abusive home or a human trafficking situation, or they had just experienced a sexual assault and were looking for help. Being able to reveal to them that I had had these experiences too, and that I truly could relate to where they were coming from. But also that I already knew they looked up to me in a way, as an attorney, you're someone that they're looking to for guidance and support, and I'm an educated woman, I have a good career. So I think all this came together, seeing my own experience and how people were affected by me telling my story, and then seeing that this is not uncommon, that a lot of our leaders in our communities actually are survivors too, led to me to understand that there's a journey to be had, that victims can become survivors, and that survivors can then become leaders in our communities and really reshape these conversations and hopefully promote real sea change in how we think about abuse and exploitation, and how we think about and value survivors and abuse victims. Too many times in the way that victims are portrayed on TV or in the media, it's this weird phenomenon where people who are people of color, people who are women, people who are even transgender and other sort of marginalized groups are overrepresented in the way that victims are portrayed. And so it seems like mainstream people who are not in any of those marginalized groups find it easier to otherize the victim of abuse or exploitation, to think that that's not something that happens in where they live, that it's not something that happens to people like me, like people like us, when the fact is that it happens all around us. 1 in 3 women will survive some form of sexual assault in her lifetime. 1 out of 5 experience domestic violence. Human trafficking is extremely prolific. Human trafficking is extremely prolific here in Florida. And in fact, the I-4 corridor is considered one of the main trafficking routes from outside of the United States into the United States, and also between states. Human trafficking, we often think of something that not only happens in other countries, but that happens to other people. And in reality, it's happening to our neighbors, our friends, to us, to people just like us. So we decided to create this larger organization that would use the arts to tell these stories, to get the message out that these are events, these are things that happen to people all around us, and that a victim is not doomed to be a victim forever. They're not damaged goods, that victims have this potential in them to go on and heal and really have a positive impact in our communities, that we as survivors can have this positive impact in our communities, that by telling our stories, we can spur other people to action, we can comfort others who are experiencing abuse and exploitation, and we can raise money to help fill in the gaps where social services don't necessarily meet all of the needs. When talking with other survivors and in my own experiences, I realized that despite the fact that resources exist all around us, there aren't nearly enough to go around. And the resources that do exist are often limited in who they serve or how they serve. For example, here in Polk County, 90% of the social services available are religious-based. They're faith-based organizations. Of course, we have nothing against faith-based organizations, but at the same time, for a lot of people who have either experienced trauma relating directly to religion or religious institutions, or for example, for those of us in the LGBTQ community, the idea of approaching a religious organization to look for help is daunting and can dissuade someone from getting the help that they need. So we wanted to create a radically inclusive organization that would help to fill in these gaps, that would connect people with resources that would be able to say yes to them, to those particular individuals, and where people who often feel marginalized already could go to feel included and accepted and honored for who they are. So this being Women's History Month, we're getting ready to present our LULAC for Women Summit. And Ana Rivera and I were talking about what topics we should include. We ran across the stories that have come out recently about an ongoing, Ana Rivera and I were talking about Women's History Month and the upcoming LULAC for Women Summit. And we had seen in the news recently articles regarding the killings of trans women in Puerto Rico and how rampant a problem that has become, especially since the hurricanes that devastated the island over the last couple of years. And it became a larger conversation about femicide in general. Femicide being where a woman or a girl is murdered specifically because of her gender. She is targeted specifically because she presents as female. She is a woman, she was a girl. And, you know, femicide is a problem that has been around for centuries. Women's and girls' lives have been undervalued and underrepresented. The power of women and girls has been compromised for so long in our societies that it was not that long ago that killing a woman or a girl, especially if she was your spouse or your daughter, was not even seen as a crime, where women and girls were treated as property. We talk about, again, how far we've come, but how far we really still have to go. It's important for us to remember that as recently as last century, the 1990s, it was still legal to rape, for a man to rape his wife. It was not even considered a crime. It wasn't until the 1990s that the Supreme Court finally said that is a concern for equal protection. Clearly, we are not giving equal protection to women if a woman can still be raped by her husband and it's not even considered a crime. So again, kind of circling back to this thought that we really have to be careful about thinking of women's rights violations as something that happened somewhere else to other people, because in fact, this is an ongoing problem here in the US. I was looking at some of the statistics in preparation for this talk that said that femicides here in the United States which in the US we define it as, or the only numbers that are really tracked here in the United States is by the Office on Violence Against Women, which tracks numbers regarding domestic violence, intimate partner violence. Those numbers have been climbing in the US steadily since 2014. So where we think that we're making progress in terms of women's rights, there is also this current of a kind of a backlash against women that's ongoing. And we still are not really addressing these issues head on here in the US. Looking internationally, there are certainly places where it's much worse. Unfortunately, the international women's rights organizations that track numbers, they ranked some of the 25 worst countries where femicide was even more of a problem. Around the world, it's approximately 66,000 deaths per year. That's 17% of all homicides the world over. More than half of the top 25 countries that they named in that study were in Latin America. Number one being El Salvador and Honduras being not far behind. In fact, it seems like El Salvador and Honduras have kind of traded off years over the last decade or so. And part of the reason that we are talking about it more now in the United States, thankfully, I'm glad that we're talking about it. We need to be talking about it. But the numbers of asylum seekers coming to the US due to severe violence against women in their home countries has risen recently. And that is serving a purpose of bringing this to the forefront in terms of conversations. But again, we tend to talk about it in terms of this is something that's happening in other places to other people. When in reality, we also need to deal with the reality that this is happening here. Here in the US especially, we see that femicide is a particular problem for women who are otherwise marginalized. We look, for example, at the murder of Vanessa Guillen, who had already been a victim of sexual assault. She had complained about sexual assault happening on the military base where she was housed, and it went unaddressed. She was murdered by the man that she had complained about, who was a superior officer. He was a higher ranking person on the military base. She was also Mexican American. We don't know whether that actually factored in, but clearly the fact that she was a woman and she was complaining about sexual assault on a military base, those things all played into the fact that it was not stopped before it happened. And not only that, but that it wasn't properly investigated or addressed after she disappeared until there was public outcry, until people, her family especially, but many others gathered and said, hey, this has got to be looked into. This is not right. A military base of all places should be a safe place for a woman who is serving her country. Additionally, we see that BIPOC women, trans women are particularly targeted, are particularly vulnerable. And I think it comes back again to the fact that we need to address the way that our society looks at marginalized communities. Do we treat marginalized communities really as us or them? Wherever we look at another group of people as them and not us, we tend to put on blinders and not recognize the problems that are right in front of us, the problems that do clearly affect all of us, because what impacts one of us does affect all of us. The more that we recognize that these problems, whatever affects one aspect of our community, whether you think of that very locally, your hometown, we think of that as our country, the United States of America, better yet, we think about the worldwide community, the family, the human family. What affects one of us affects all of us. Femicide is just this particularly horrific, ongoing sign of how little value we've placed on the lives of women and girls, and how the lack of power, political power, trickles down to translates to lack of power in our own daily lives. So as much as we talk about equality for women, we need to make that a reality, not just in policy and in politics, but in daily life. We were discussing what political leaders could do to bring more awareness or to initiate legislation around femicides. And I think that the role of politicians in politics is somewhat limited. They can only do so much, but they can change the conversation by prioritizing positive changes for women and girls and protections for women and girls. We need to renew and strengthen the protections that are available, for example, under the Violence Against Women Act. The Violence Against Women Act offers specifically protections to immigrant women and girls, but immigrant survivors of abuse and exploitation, regardless of gender. And this is a very critical humanitarian form of humanitarian relief that's available, because migrant women, immigrants of all, regardless of gender, are one of the few demographics that you can point to in the United States that are far more likely to be targeted for abuse and exploitation. And so having the Violence Against Women Act offer these protections is critical to their protection, to them having a way out of an abusive situation. But what I would really love to see is if we can address abuse and exploitation before it happens. I feel like the conversations that we've had, that I had growing up, the education that we all got over the last couple of decades at least, and well before that, has always been about women and girls protecting themselves, women and girls watching how they dress, or how much they have to drink, or who they party with, etc., as the way to protect ourselves from abuse and exploitation, rather than talking in a broader sense about consent, about how we as people treat one another, how we process our traumas and our feelings, our emotions in healthy ways. We really need to address toxic masculinity in our culture. We really need to address rape culture in our society. If we don't stop talking specifically to women and girls as though we are the ones who are responsible for abuse and exploitation, and start talking about the fact that we are all responsible for keeping ourselves in check and keeping each other protected, we're just not ever going to really create change. We're always going to be playing catch up and trying to address these problems after they happen. And what we really need to do is find ways to change the conversation so that we're talking about prevention, and we're not talking about prevention in terms of how to protect yourself, or at least not just that, but we're talking about how we really can stop abuse and exploitation from being basically an accepted part of how our society functions, or dysfunctions, as the case may be. So that said, I really appreciate the invite. I thank you all for taking the time to listen, and hope to see you at our next Red Tent Initiative event.
Don't go away, stay tuned, as our collaborators and sponsors and advertisers are bringing you some great information on their product and services. So don't go away.
¿Necesita ayuda para pagar el cuidado de sus niños pequeños? Nosotros podemos asistir. Llame hoy a 863-577-2450 o vaya a elcpolk.org.
Our mission is to provide a caring and holistic treatment environment that affects a positive change in the mental well-being and quality of life of all persons we treat.
WQXM 1460M 99.9 FM es tu conexión directa con la comunidad hispana de Polk County. 100% en vivo y local. Noticias, música, participación en nuestra comunidad. Porque el contenido lo es todo. Ritmo 99.9, tan hispana como tú. Una estación DRC Broadcasting.
Good morning, buenos días. Yo soy Anita Rivera from the Puerto Rican Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Polk County. And as you can see here behind me, we have some employers that are looking to give you a job. New year, new career. Obviously, the challenge with COVID has been unbelievable. And I say that 2021 is going to be the rematch year. Okay, so that means that you are going to have to go and do a rematch of what was taken away from you. So like a boxer or any kind of a sport, you know that you're not satisfied with the outcome. Not many people are satisfied with the outcomes here in 2020. So 2021 is the Revancha year. So come on down or contact these employers here. We will be having job fairs every 3 months. That is something that we have decided as a chamber to do. We want to help our community, nuestra gente, nuestro pueblo. So again, thank you for coming by and touch base with these employers. They want to hire you. It's not like they just want to take your resume and that's it, and adios muchacho. They want to hire you, and that is a good thing, okay? So take care, and I look forward to seeing you in 2021.
Good morning. My name is Georgiana Goodson, and I'm here at the Puerto Rican Chamber Job Fair representing senior helpers with my colleagues, and we are interviewing applicants for certified nursing assistants and home health aides. Senior Helpers has been serving Polk County seniors since 2008. We want to make sure that their needs are being met safely and consistently in the home. So we're going to really keep an eye out for fall prevention, provide healthy meals for them, do light housekeeping, and also help with personal hygiene when that is necessary. So if that sounds like something you would like to do, and if you have experience helping the elderly, then we can help and we can train you. Our office is Joint Commission accredited. We're right here in Lakeland, again serving since 2008, and we would love to talk to you. Give us a call. The number is 863-686-7333. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amy and I'm with Labor Solutions. We're here at this beautiful job fair in the hopes of helping you find your new career. We do a little bit of everything from agricultural to clerical, administration to warehousing. With over 20 years of experience, our goal is to put you in a position where you have room to grow. If you have any questions with us, you can always contact us at laborsolutions.com or to our Bartow office at 863-519-5500. We do agricultural, warehouse, clerical, administration, production, citrus production. We cover a wide variety of different positions, and all of our clients are currently in need. So our hopes is to be able to fill these positions with qualified candidates who want to work and want to grow with these companies. We actually have 6 different locations. My branch is personally in Bartow on West Van Fleet. We do cover the Lakeland area, but so does our Plant City office. Polk County, Hillsborough County, Hardy County, Port Charlotte, and DeSoto County. All of our offices are bilingual. Actually, a couple of them are trilingual. We do try to cover all of our bases with that. Most of our clients will hire somebody even if they don't speak the language. They have people there to translate and are willing to accommodate those needs. Because we are a staff-ed agency, we do work a little bit different. Every client requires something different. So you might not qualify for one position, but you would definitely qualify for probably 5 others. And this is how we try to help our community, and it's, helping the people by helping us. By helping our clients, and it's, a nice little circle.
My name is Sergeant Daniel Robinson. I'm with the Polk County Sheriff's Office. We're looking for deputy sheriffs, detention deputies, detention support specialists, and animal control officers.
So do they go in as a recruit the same if it's a brand new person that doesn't have any law enforcement?
You come in as a recruit. We have to put you through what they call the Law Enforcement Academy. And that particular program lasts days is a 9-month program, nights is a 10-month program. To become a detention deputy or law enforcement officer.
All right. Is there any particular background that they need to have? Or?
Not necessarily a background, just an interest in law enforcement, of course. The sheriff does stand behind our sheriff's office being number 1. And so they're trying to recruit the best people.
Okay.
If you fit the mold, we want you there.
Okay. Is the application online or is it a hard copy?
Yes, sir. The application is online at polksheriff.org. It lists the jobs, what the jobs pay, so forth.
And where can they go to fill out that application? Or you said online?
Online.
Strictly online?
Online, or you can call.
Okay.
The sheriff's office is 863-298-6440. That's Human Resources. And they will help you or assist you with how to go about filling out that application. Your record has to be pretty clean.
Okay. I'm sure they have a screening process for that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So if they don't know, they can just definitely find out. Check.
Just call it down.
All right. Very good.
Some do. Some pre-screen themselves. They'll call. They want to know what the qualifications are before actually putting in an application. Someone just wants to know whether you have a good chance of making it in or not. So that too, we answer those questions through Human Resources.
Human Resources. Very good. All right. And may I ask who you are?
David Bella, and I work in Human Resources.
This is the lady to speak to at Human Resources. Now you know the person that you'll be speaking to. Very good. Do you have anything to add?
No, just apply and we'll be happy to process your application and let you know what's going on with it.
Very good. Thank you both very much.
Hi, I'm Marcy McCabe and I work for Citrus Connection. Citrus Connection is our public transit for all of Polk County. We have terminals in Winter Haven, Lakeland, and our call center is in Bartow. We are currently hiring for fixed route operators and paratransit operators. Our fixed route operators run from point A to point B and then back and forth all day. Paratransit is a little bit more hands-on as we help the disabled with wheelchairs or assisting them get on the bus, and that's a door-to-door service that we also provide. We are located here in Lakeland. Our main office is off of George Jenkins, and if you are interested in working in transit, we will take you whether you have a CDL or not. The only thing you would need is a permit in order to join the training class. We have one starting at the end of January, and we have about 5 positions that we are needing to fill. If you do have your CDL, the endorsements that are required are general knowledge, passenger endorsement, and air brakes. But if you have any questions, you can call the office. You can call me directly, 863-640-2767, and if you want to apply, you can go right ahead to do that online at www.rightcitrus.com, where we have listed all the positions, and you can apply directly there. Thank you.
Is there a particular prime candidate that would, that you're exactly looking for? Like they come through the door, they have a particular background, you're like, yes, we need you.
Well, the prime candidate, of course, would have a CDL, but we have noticed in the past year, of course, during the pandemic, that a lot of people are changing careers due to the circumstances in their jobs. So we have always offered, to not have a CDL and teach them and get their permits and everything. But of course, the ideal one would have a CDL with passenger. So.
And if they come on board, if they were able to train and come on board, Is there quite a few openings available for people?
Currently, because of the CARES Act, we have 5 positions open. So we look to fill those as soon as possible. And then as the year progresses, depending on funding, we also have, we've grown from 98 to now a little over 200 employees, and the majority are drivers.
Very good. And you were saying that there's a disabled service that you provide as well.
Yes, paratransit.
Could you elaborate a little on that?
All right, so paratransit, if you have a loved one or yourself, you can't ride the regular fixed route bus, you call over to the call center. There's an application that you fill out. Your doctor gives them information that you do need a little more assistance. So you would call and you would schedule your ride, whether you have to go to the doctor, whether you need to go to Walmart, prescriptions, any kind of an appointment. You would schedule it, the driver would come to your home, knock on the door, help you get onto the bus, and then whatever time you're finished with your appointment, bring you back home. So it's a door-to-door service.
Very good. And that's with a disability that's not
No, it's
elderly?
anyone that cannot ride the fixed route bus, whether it could be an ambulatory or if they're in a wheelchair. So if they just cannot ride, then that's what the paratransit's there.
Hi guys, my name is Jessica Gordon and I'm the recruitment manager here at Mid-Florida Credit Union, and today we are hiring for bilingual call center reps and part-time tellers in the Lakeland and Winter Haven area. Mid-Florida is a great place to work. I've been with the company for 5 years, and if you're looking for a company that offers career growth, opportunity, tuition reimbursement, and great benefits, you couldn't ask for a better company to work for. So I urge you to go to our website, apply online, and you can also give us a call at 863-904-4888 to get more information about the positions that we have to offer and opportunities. That's what we're here for. We want to help you build a career and get on with Mid-Florida and stay for a very long time. You would just go to our website, scroll to the very bottom of the page, and then click on our careers link. It's midflorida.com/careers. And on our careers link, there's a ton of information about Mid-Florida, employee testimonies, and also other job openings that we have within the organization listed in all the job descriptions.
Okay. Do you have a particular candidate that you're looking for?
So we are looking for bilingual candidates in our call center and as well as our, really throughout our organization and part-time tellers. So not really any, we're very customer service oriented. So it's really, if you have a strong customer service background, that's what we're looking for. We want someone that you can hear that smile over the phone and someone that's going to provide great service to our members. Yes, we do offer training with the credit union. I always make the joke that I went through training about 5 years ago, and it was teller training, and I always joke that you could put me on the teller line today and I could still be a functioning teller. I would be slow, but I could do it. So our training is absolutely excellent. It's some of the best training I've ever had in my entire life. And so we put a lot of pride into training our employees and giving them the best tools and resources so that they can better help our members. So training can vary from position to position. So we do offer a lot of training. You don't have to have previous call center experience or previous teller experience to apply for these jobs. We just focus on customer service oriented background history. So if you have, if you've worked at Publix or if you worked in the restaurant industry, you can definitely apply for those jobs, or apply for our jobs here at Mid-Florida. You don't have to be a previous teller or have worked in a call center to qualify.
My name is Mirka Mercado. I am the Vice President CFO at Labor Solutions. Labor Solutions is an employment agency. I started with Labor Solutions back in 2002. I started as an office assistant and worked my way up to branch manager. I eventually transferred to several other positions, including the work comp department, till I eventually became the vice president about 7 years ago. I have worked hard to get to where I am. I've had to learn many duties throughout the company. I had to get to know the ins and the outs of the company in order to become who I am today in the company. You're probably wondering what makes Labor Solutions different. We've been in business for over 23 years, and we care about our community. We're here to help our community in different ways, not just employment. We're here to make a change, and we are bringing people together. Hey young people, if you're currently about to graduate from high school, we have open positions for you. We don't require experience for many of our open positions. If you're about to be 18 and you are eligible to work in the United States, give us a call, stop by one of our branches, or complete our online application at the convenience of from the convenience of your home. Again, that would be www.laborsolutions.com. We will definitely coach you on what the necessary steps will be. We do require for you to provide us with 2 forms of identification. If you happen to have any certifications, or if you're one of the ones graduating, bring us your diploma and we will gladly help you out with the next steps. Once you complete your application and you provide us with the identifications that we will need from you, the next step would be for one of our branch staff members to give you a call. They will guide you through all the necessary paperwork required for you to be in compliance with all your documentations. At that point, our staff members will notify you of the open positions that we have that you may qualify for. All information will be provided to you as far as what the job will consist of, what the pay rate will be, the start date, and any other information that you would need about that assignment that they are calling you for. At that point, you will decide if that would be of interest to you, and we will have you come into the office and pick up all the necessary paperwork for you to report to that assignment. If you're looking to change careers, feel free to stop by, give us a call, and we will gladly help you with your search. We will also help you with your resume updating. If you need help with that, our friendly staff members will gladly assist you. And for you baby boomers, military vets, we have a job for you. Come see us, we'll talk to you, we'll see what you're looking for, and we'll gladly help you out. Come see us. For anyone looking for employment with Labor Solutions, we do have available online applications for your convenience. You could go to www.laborsolutions.com. There is a tab for anyone looking for employment. You could apply online. At that point, one of our team members will reach out to you and go through the process, the next steps that it'll take for you to get started with us.
What are some of the challenges that Labor Solutions has had to face with COVID?
Some of the challenges that Labor Solutions has had to face with COVID-19 has been finding employees. We actually have a number of open positions available in the area, and we are actively recruiting for those open positions we have. If you know someone that's looking, send them our way. We have bilingual representatives in every office. We have an office in Arcadia, Bartow, Lake Wales, Port Charlotte, Plant City, and our corporate office in Winter Haven. We recruit whether the applicants are bilingual or not. You could be bilingual, you could speak no English. We do have open positions that don't require for you to speak English. We do require for you to have the correct and appropriate paperwork for you to work in the United States. That is one of our requirements. Well, I am just like everyone else out there. I am a mother of 2 beautiful daughters. I am very family oriented. I do spend a lot of time with family bonding. I do spend a lot of time with people in our community. I get involved in a lot of events to do with the community to help out. I am a very timid person on a personal level. Therefore, we spend, mostly family time. I do have 2 puppies that we spend a lot of time with. And that's it.
Any community programs or organizations that you're involved with?
I am currently involved with LULAC. I am the Sergeant at Arms, also the Secretary. I am involved with breast cancer. We do the breast cancer walk on a yearly basis. This is going to be our 7th year. I am also involved in a couple of other organizations along with the Puerto Rican Chamber of Polk County. I try to get as involved as I possibly humanly could. Any ladies out there, never give up, follow your dreams. Don't let anyone tell you what your limitations are. Never limit yourself, reach for the stars. There's no limit for us. Also reach out to other ladies in the community that could help you out. LULAC organization is one organization that will help you out. Reach out to us. We will help you as much as we could in the community. Reach out to neighbors, friends. Just never give up.
Hola, soy Ángel Jiménez
y José Carrillo, de Jiménez y Carrillo, sus abogados.
Con nuestra oficina principal en Miami, al igual que Orlando, Kissimmee y Lakeland, con más de 25 años representando a nuestra comunidad latina con todo tipo de casos, especialmente reclamos de seguros y accidentes. Recuerde, no hay peor pregunta que la que no se haga.
Llámenos
para una consulta gratis.
Okay, Early Childhood Learning Center has been open for about 20 years under my proprietorship. I used to work at Geico. I worked at Geico for about 12 years. And because of the location of Geico, there used to be a huge need for childcare in that area. At that time, there was not much on Pipkin Road. So one day I decided that could be a good idea, and that's where everything started. And so I opened one, a very small one, in an old house on Skinner Street. And from then, we expanded, and now we have 3 different locations. I'm from Venezuela, from Valencia, Venezuela, and I have been in this country for about 32 years. I graduated from Florida Southern College with an international business degree. And then I got my master's degree from San Leo University. When the pandemic started, it was like such a big surprise. It was something that almost surreal. We thought that it was only going to last 2 months, and we just needed to take it easy. But then very quickly we realized that this was going to be a long-term decision that we had to make. So because I realized one day when I went to one of my schools that most of my students were gone. I only had few left at this location on Skinner where I first started. And then one of my biggest customers, which was Geico Insurance, had closed their doors and sent everybody home to work from home. So I lost almost all those customers too. So when I saw that and I realized the cost and everything that it was going on, I decided to combine both schools and leave the third one completely open. That one didn't get affected as much. So I combined the Skinner location with the Airside location because my main concern was all I could think is I don't want to lose any of my employees. This is crucial that I keep everyone, and at the same time, if I wasn't going to make money, I didn't want to lose money. So that's what I did. I combined the Skinner location with the Airside location. I was able to work almost at capacity, and I was able to keep all my personnel. The first thing that I did was to close doors for everyone except my teachers and of course my little customers. No tours were allowed, parents, adults, nobody was allowed in the building. Then I decided to install UV lights to all the air conditioning units to make sure that anything that we were breathing was safe and it was sanitized. Every child and every parent will get their temperature taken. As soon as the child will walk in, we'll spray their shoe soles with disinfectant. The child will go immediately to the bathroom and wash their hands. All the teachers will wear double mask, just the regular cloth mask and the shield. And at the time, because we didn't know much about the virus and how contagious it was and how transmission was, I decided that teachers will leave a set of uniform at the school. They will come in directly, will go into the break room, change into those clothes and wash it every day. So I went to the extremes really. But we were able not to have any COVID cases until the end of the year. Around Christmas time, we have one case. So we have been very blessed and very lucky with that. Yes, when I decided to combine the two locations, as everyone else was in the country, I was confused, I was sad, I didn't know what direction to take. And one of the things I always wanted to do was to renovate and freshen up that building. I was never able to do that because I was always full. And yes, it was a sad situation that I hardly have any customers, but I thought this is the perfect time to do it. So with the help of Prospera, another organization, I was able to put up a business plan and work with different banks in the area. And the flow was beautiful, everything happened, it was easy. It was easy because I had a lot of help and a lot of smart people was able to guide me to the right direction. So instead of remodeling, with the help and advice of Rotor Construction, they said, let's just demo this and we can have it done. It's just only in a few months. And 3 months later, I had this beautiful building that it matches the Lakeland architecture, with the bungalow style. And at the same time, it has the preschool look and feel that makes you feel welcome and safe. So it's just a beautiful building, which I'm extremely proud of. And it gives you that feeling that the pandemic was so horrible and my building was not the prettiest. So they both went down, the pandemic and the building, and now we're rebuilding. We're starting something new that is beautiful and that we all have learned a lot from it. On the personal side, surprisingly enough, my daughter who lives in Manhattan, she came home and she was able and very blessed to be able to work from home for about 4 months. And I really, really enjoy having the whole family back together. She left a long time ago to college and now she's a grown adult, and it was very nice to be able to have dinner, and I think life just calmed down a little bit. It wasn't as hectic. Everybody was home. We didn't have as many things to do. My husband, who is in sales, travels constantly from Monday through Thursday all over the country. So that also was eliminated and he had to stay home. So on the bright side of things, I think that that was good. That was a good thing. I think it was sent to us in a way that we needed to slow down. And I took that personally, and I made it into a positive thing, that just having my family back for 4 months, and it was very, very gratifying to be able to do that. My advice to women who are starting a business, who are in the business, or who has been in the business for a very long time, is keep in mind that nothing lasts forever. Everything passes. And always live in the present. Don't start thinking about what mistakes you made in the past, because it will depress you. And don't think what could the future bring, because it will give you anxiety. So just live in the present, do your best that day, that moment. And from there, you're going to be able to make the right decision. So one thing I didn't tell you before was when I combined the two locations, one of the things that I just said to live in the present was I decided to demo that location that was old. And we just finished on Skinner Street, 1703 Skinner Street, a brand new location. It is beautiful, and it's all designed just to be a real childcare with all the safeties and codes required by the state. So I highly recommend it for you to stop by and visit us. Then on 1704 Mockingbird Lane, we have another location that it is for VPK and 3-year-olds. And 3135 Airside Center Drive, just off Pipkin, right next to Geico, we have our third location. We have been part of the Early Learning Coalition since we've been open. So it's a great organization that helps families to subsidize the childcare. So if you qualify, which I don't know what the qualifications are, just if you Google coalition in Polk County, it will be able to give you all the information. Then you're going to get what is called a voucher. And the fees will vary depending on how much you earn and how many people are in your household. So we take that. We also take the VPK certificate, which is a big help in tuition. So, and then we have to take, be in compliance with all the requirements with the coalitions, all the classes and all the pilots that we have to be part of and participate in all the program. But it's a wonderful organization. Just always be prepared. Be informed in whatever decision you're going to make. Don't take decisions just overnight. And I've just went through something very similar. Work very hard for your goals. Just focus on that. But if things don't go through, there is a reason for it. Don't give up. Keep trying, but don't feel defeated if things don't go through. There is a reason why it's not happening. It's because it wasn't meant to be, or because you have better opportunities coming.
Don't go away. Stay tuned as our collaborators and sponsors and advertisers are bringing you some great information on their product and services. So don't go away.
We are here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
Hola, my name is Mari Corujedo, LULAC's Florida State Director. LULAC is the largest and oldest civil rights organization that represents Hispanics and Latinos all across the United States. Today, I am here to welcome you to the Women's Summit here in Florida. Thank you, Ana Rivera and our LULAC Florida Women's Council for putting this event together. I hope it provides you great insight into the great work that LULAC Florida does throughout our state. We are composed of 14 councils, and our members are volunteer-based who do great work in all our communities. Please check us out at lulacflorida.org, and I hope you join one of our councils. You see, as women, we share the same values. We understand how important it is to have balance in everything that we do. We understand how equity and having equity in all facets of government and in all opportunities, how important that is to our communities, especially our communities of color. As women, we prioritize family, work, people, and our communities. LULAC Florida works hard to advance economic justice, educational equity, to ensure that every child receives an adequate education, regardless of zip code or means. We also value our climate, and we understand the importance, especially living here in Florida, how climate justice must be achieved, not 10 years from now, but now. We also understand how important it is for everyone who works hard to have a living wage. We understand how good wages can bring opportunity and give us social mobility and economic stability. We know how important it is to have healthcare, affordable housing, and to be civically engaged. One of the things that LULAC Florida is working hard on is to ensure that all Floridians have access to the ballot box, are able to cast a vote, and that their vote is counted. You see, our democracy is fragile, and it takes all of us to ensure that our democracy is strengthened for those who come behind us, and that we pave the way. As civil rights leaders, we understand that the work never ends. So I want to thank you again for joining the summit and being part of it and part of this event. You see, when we all vote, we the people win. So I implore you to go to lulacflorida.org and see how you could join this great organization and be part of the good work that's being done in all communities, especially communities of color. So once again, thank you and enjoy the summit.
Hello and welcome to Women for LULAC Council 7269. My name is Ana Rivera and I am your president.
Hola, my name is Grace Vega. I'm your vice president. Welcome to Women for LULAC Council 7269.
Hi, welcome to Women for LULAC Council 7269. My name is David Ramos, your treasurer.
Hi, I am Mirka Mercado. I am your Secretary and Sergeant of Arms. Welcome to Women for LULAC Council 7269.
I want to thank the Women for LULAC for the scholarship that I was awarded. And I'm extremely grateful. This couldn't have come at a better time, especially, during the pandemic when there's so many things happening. Every family is, struggling with one thing or another, whether it's financial or a loved one passing away, all sorts of things. For our family personally, my husband had a contract that ended abruptly because of COVID. And so, we weren't expecting that. And so getting awarded this scholarship makes me feel like I could contribute to my family. We're very thankful for that. I honestly did not think I was going to get chosen, let alone be considered. So I'm very thankful for that. These times are very hard, and we're all suffering in one way or another, and I feel like this gives me something to do, for one, something to look forward to. I can support my family if I can, one way or another. I want to thank you guys again, Women for LULAC, for considering me, for picking me, for giving me the scholarship. And I also want to thank my husband for always being supportive in anything that I want to do. So thank you so much.
And now, a salute to our pioneering Latinas of Florida in the local political arena. Honorable Mayor Olga Gonzalez of Kissimmee. Honorable City Council Member Mrs. Diane Velasquez of Opapka. The Honorable Polk County Commissioner Dr. Martha Santiago. And the Honorable Daisy Morales, Florida House of Representatives of District 48. We celebrate you this year. Thank you so much for representing La Mujer Latina.
Here to help families, businesses, individuals, and nonprofit organizations make a charitable impact on their community and inspire everyone to give help, give hope, and give well.
Welcome, my name is Evelyn Pena. I represent Love for You Yoga, and today we will do a practice where you can use a chair. Every one of us has a chair in their home, and we will dedicate this practice to grounding. What is grounding is to connect with your core, connect with yourself, and lower down the activity of your sympathetic nervous system, that is the fight. So today I just will ask you to start to relax, sit down comfortable in the chair, and start to shake your hands. Inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Bring your elbows up and inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Shake it out, inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Start to tap in your neocortex, gentle, inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Start to tap over your ears, inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Start to tap in your third eye, very gentle, inhale deeply, exhale deeply. Tap in your temporals, inhale deeply, exhale deeply. You can either exhale from your mouth or through your nostrils. Inhale and tap below your nose. Move on the beginning of your jaw. Maybe open your mouth and move your jaw side to side. And continue tapping. Inhale deeply and move to your chin. Inhale deeply and exhale deeply. Move over below your eyes, in the bones below your eyes. Inhale deeply and exhale deeply. And then come to your heart center and tap. And inhale deeply. Say to yourself this mantra: I am safe. I am safe. I am powerful. I am loved. Inhale deeply. I am safe. I am powerful. I am loved. And now open your hands and just hover over your heart. And start to land in your heart, inhaling through your heart slowly and gentle. And exhaling slowly. Start to imagine that you are observing your emotions there. And you are releasing any negative emotion through your exhale. So inhaling slowly and gentle to your heart. And exhaling slowly. Inhaling more love to your heart. And exhaling slowly. Without forcing, just observing and flowing slowly. And bring an intention to this practice today, an intention for yourself. And now open your eyes slowly and bring your hands over your knees and start to do a circle with your nose, drawing a circle at the beginning, inhaling and exhaling at the end. In yoga, slow is fast, less is more. Inhaling at the beginning and at the end, exhaling. And then reversing the movement, starting in the other side. Inhale and exhale. And one more time, inhale and exhale. Then bringing to the center, inhale and drop your shoulders up, inhale and exhale, opening your chest, bringing your shoulder blades together, exhale, inhale up and exhale, bringing your shoulder blades together, inhale and exhale down. And now squeeze up, inhale, 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 and drop down like an elevator. Inhale up, squeezing and squeezing, and drop down like an elevator. Exhale. Today I will teach you a new breathing technique that is called ocean breathing. So you will bring your hand in front of your mouth and you will start to imagine that you are fogging a mirror. So inhale, and then you will fog the mirror. Inhale. Now move your hand, close your mouth, and do the same movement with your mouth closed. Inhale. Now inhale up, bring your arms up, drawing your shoulders away of your ears. Now you will use your right hand for support, the lateral side, and you will bend to the side. Breathe. Keeping your shoulder blades and your shoulders away of your ears. Maybe bending your elbow over your head and do deep stretch of your armpit. Inhale, engage your navel and coming back to center. Drawing your shoulders away your ears, bring your left hand to the side, lengthening your spine, inhale, and exhale, bending to the side, breathe. And inhale, coming up, and exhale, bringing your hands to the base of your chair, and coming to the edge of the chair, you will inhale, lifting your rib cage up, bringing your chin up if it's safe for you, and inhale up, opening your chest area, opening your heart to more love. Inhale, and exhale, bending your chin towards your chest. Now bring your hands over your knees, and you will inhale, bringing your chest forward and chin up, and exhale, coming in, bringing your chin towards your chest, navel towards your spine, in a variation of cat and cow. Inhale in cow variation, and exhale in a scary cat. Inhale in cow, and exhale in a scary cat. Inhale, bring your arms up, rotate your shoulders to the side, and bring your left hand over your right knee and your right hand in the back of your chair for support, and breathe in this twist of your spine. Gaze into the side, inhale deeply, and exhale deeply. Inhale deeply, and exhale deeply. And then inhale, coming back to center, drawing your shoulders away of your ears, rotate to the other side, to your left side. Right hand over your left knee, left hand behind. And in each inhale, lengthening your spine. In each exhale, maybe going more deep in the twist or not. Ahimsa, non-violence. One of the principles of yoga is oriented to non-violence to your body. Non-violence in the way that you speak to yourself, and non-violence in the way that you treat yourself or to others. Inhale deeply, and exhale deeply. Inhale and coming back to center. And now drop all the way forward to the ground. If your mobility is limited, I advise you that you use blocks and you lay down in the blocks. And here is just surrendering, feeling the connection between your belly and your thighs, relaxing your head, and saying no and saying yes, just to hand out here your head. And imagine that you're opening your head and you're releasing all your worries to the ground. Inhale deeply and exhale deeply. And in the next inhale, you are coming up in sun salutations, bringing your hands in prayer mudra, and do a micro back bend of your back if it's safe for you, and exhale all the way down again, using your props or just leaning down in the ground. Breathe. Breathe. And then coming up, inhale up. And exhale into your heart. Now bring your right ankle over your left thigh and sitting down in your tailbones as support. Breathe here. Just nurturing and opening your hips here. Breathe. And then the next inhalation, then bring your right arm up and twist to the opposite side. Breathe. Finding more space. Breathe. And coming back to center, releasing. Maybe using your left forearm for carry the base of your feet. Inhale in the center and exhale to the side. Inhale in the center and exhale to the side. Inhale and exhale to the side. Coming back to center and releasing the feet and shake it, shake it, shake it. And let's come back to the other side. Bringing the left ankle over your right thigh. Breathe here. Sit down in your tailbones. Grow in your spine. And now use your left arm, inhale, and exhale to the side. Breathe. And coming back to center, using your right forearm to carry the base of your feet, and inhaling to the center, exhaling to the right. Inhaling to the center, exhaling to the right. Coming back, releasing that feet and shake it, shake it, shake it. Now use your hands for support and lengthening your legs out, pointing and flexing, and connecting with your quadriceps and your hamstrings. External rotation of your feet. Inhale and external rotation. And do internal rotation just to nurturing your ankles here, and maybe they will make some noises, it's fine. You are nurturing that area and coming back, releasing to the ground. We are standing up, entering the first pose, Tadasana, mountain pose. So bring your feet as quick as your hips, feel your hips with your hands, and rolling up your toes and down like you're rooting your toes to the ground, balancing forward and back for grounding. And then notice your pelvis in which poses. You're moving forward, inhale, and exhale back. And And from the middle point between the two movements, inhale forward, exhale back, and from the middle point where your pelvis is pointing to the ground. And from there, use a block between your thighs, your inner thighs, and pressure with your inner thighs, correct your pelvis, and inhale up, exhale to center, and opening your arms to the side in Tadasana, mountain pose. So engaging the base of your mountain, but the forehead, relax your forehead, open your mouth, and move your mouth side to side, close it back, and draw a beautiful smile to yourself. A smile. Relax your shoulders away of your ears and engage the base. This pose looks like very inactive, but it's very active. Inhale deeply and exhale deeply. Inhale deeply and exhale deeply. Release the block back. Inhale up, and then bending your knees. You are entering chair pose, so you might think that you are sitting down in the chair, but you are not to. And keeping your spine lengthening, breathe here, engaging your inner thighs, breathe. Inhale up, and entering chair again, exhale. Inhale up, and entering chair again, exhale. Inhale up, and one more time, exhale, and breathe here. Breathe. Breathe, ocean breathing. And coming up. Now come to the top of your mat and bring your feet as width as your hips and step back your right feet. Bringing the back sole of your feet in 45 degrees. Bring the blocks in front of you and find the support here. Then lifting your heel from the ground, entering in high lunge, where your front knee is over your ankle. Breathe. And your hands are just leaning here. Shoulders away of your ears. Breathe. And then use a block in the side of your feet and put your left hand, or you can go directly to the ground. It's important your safety, and bring your right arm up. Breathe. Inhale deeply and exhale deeply. And coming back to center, using the blocks, stepping forward, your right feet. And be here in forward fold. In forward fold, bending your knees. What is important here is to bring the contact with your thighs, of your lower belly, and relaxing your head. And in halfway, bringing your hands over your knees or just leaning in the blocks, but lengthening your spine. Breathe. And then step back your left feet, bringing 45 degrees and your front knee over your ankle, bring the blocks to the side. Breathe here, roll up your back heel in high lunge and breathe. Opening your chest area, breathe. And now leaning in the left block that is in the side, bringing your hand as support and bringing the sole of the back feet in the ground. Inhale up, breathe. And exhale, coming back to center, roll back your toes and stepping forward in forward fold. Lengthening your spine, gazing to the ground, breathe. Bringing your navel in, breathe. And come all the way down in forward fold. Micro bending your knees Relaxing your head and moving side to side, folding your elbows, and just balancing yourself here, relaxing, and imagine that you are opening your head again and releasing more of your worries to the ground. And in the next inhale, just relax your hands and start to come up vertebra by vertebra, slowly, very gentle. Rolling up and back your shoulders, opening your arms to the side, entering Tadasana. Breathe. Using back the chair, you will use the back side of your chair as support. And we will do the downward facing dog in this version. So you will start to step back from your chair until you are lengthening your spine and your hips are over your ankles, and breathe there. Gaze into the ground, breathe. And then coming back to center, walking back to the chair. Use the chair in the lateral side and feel it as support. Engaging your left feet, bringing your right heel to the side. You decide what kind of three you will do, using your feet below your knee or above your knee. For avoid any lesions, inhale up. And you can find your balance, your gaze point, and coming all the way up in three pose. This is an asana for your nervous system, for balance, your left and right side of your brain. Breathe. And exhale, coming up for the pose, checking your legs and coming to the other side. Using as support the back of your chair, engaging your right leg and bringing up your left heel. Breathe. Finding your gazing point in the ground, inhaling up. Breathe. Find the version of your tree. We are all different trees, but we make a very beautiful landscape. Inhale deeply and exhale deeply to your heart. Shaking your legs, coming up. And then we will sit down in the chair again. And you will bring your elbows up. And you will start to opening your chest area. We will finalize with this. Bringing your chin up and relaxing your arms to the side. Breathe. This is something that you can do in your office for opening your chest and then coming all the way down in forward fold. And then coming up, coming to the side of the chair, and just breathing here. And this twist of your spine. And then rotating to the other side. Twisting back to center. Breathe. And coming in Shavasana, we will use a blanket. You will come at the base of the chair, rolling up your legs. You will just rest your legs here and opening your arms in T position, lifting your chest, bringing your shoulder blades together. Release and relax. Shavasana means corpse pose, and it's learning how to let it go, how to release, how to die to the old stories and old drama, and renew yourself. Allowing and observing your breathing. take your time and dispose all what you need. And thank you for trust me in this practice today. And thank you for show up here. Namaste. That means my soul salute your soul, my heart, your heart. Thank you.
Thank you everyone who participated in our summit, La Revancha. I look forward to seeing you all again next year as we go forward. And as one last message I want to tell you, be prepared because we are having a new project and I want you all to be a part of it. It is the Hispanic Heritage Traveling Exhibit coming to your neighborhood soon. So again, thank you so much for everyone to be part of our event. And it wasn't possible if it wasn't for Netza Rodriguez, our studio time producer, Ritmo 99.9 FM, Café con Anita, and Que Pasa Polk. So again, take care, God bless, and I'll see you doing business.